Should I mute?
Hello. No, we don't have to mute yet. Hello, everybody. Welcome to yet another edition of Paradigm Shift and Educational Comedy. And today, TSU is the newest social media revolution that is most feared by the establishment media. TSU sets new standards for economic fairness, anti-censorship, and a real sense of community that welcomes artists, activists, patriots, and anyone who is wanting to be the change they wish to create in the world. Tired of all the bickering and division? TSU stands a good chance of bringing more and more people together for creating and implementing practical solutions to real-world problems. This roundtable discussion will include the following TSU users: the Awakening Liberty Show host, Sean Caron, myself, of course, Anonymous Activist Sitting Bull, PSEC's Katerina Roy, she's right here, say hello.
Hello.
Richard Hamilton will hopefully be coming in later. He had some things come up today with his car, so if he comes in, he will be calling in. He will not be coming in through the Google Hangout end of things. Of course, we have TSU user Jennifer Codak. Say hi, Jen.
Hello.
Tentatively, but with high probability of attendance, this conversation will also likely include PSEC's Kristen Meyer and TSU user Krista Pohl, who is actually driving on the road right now to come home, and when she is home, she will be popping in with us, so I can't tell you exactly when that'll be, just soon. TSU user and internet radio show host Michael Howell might also be joining the discussion once Sean opens up the call-in line. This live stream will be a Skype-Google Simulcast allowing for video conference by way of a YouTube Google Hangout, in other words, what you all are watching right now on the PSEC YouTube channel, and internet radio feed by way of Truth Frequency Radio. You know, Sean will be connecting that, and, you know, so on and so forth. So right now, we're just kind of chit-chatting it up a bit for, oh, and there's Kristen. She's here. Hello, Kristen.
Hi. Hey,
so
guys.
Right now, we're just chit-chatting it up a bit for about 10 minutes until until Sean connects the simulcast link, and then everybody's going to need to mute their mics, and then Sean is going to be in complete control of who says what and when, because it's his radio show, the Awakening Liberty Radio Show, on Truth Frequency Radio, and I am merely a guest who is simulcasting this over Paradigm Shift and Educational Comedy on YouTube. So right now I am just waiting for, you know, the little notification on the Skype laptop part of the bridge to pop up that says, you know, Sean is calling, and then once I initiate that, bam, we're connected and all good.
Dave, can I do that?
What?
Can I do that?
Can you do what?
Smoke.
Oh, yeah.
Okay. Just making sure.
You're in your house. You can do whatever you want.
I'm just making sure.
Yeah.
Hey, Dave.
I prefer to smoke my tobacco in a pot.
Yeah, I know.
What's up, Kristen?
I'm going to have my mic muted unless I'm spoken to, because I'm currently at my grandma's house, and Kaylee and Kyle are by, and I don't want them to disrupt the call. But I will make sure if he does address me, I'll go somewhere where it's quiet really fast.
All right. Well, in the meantime, you don't have to mute. Only when we engage the simulcast, then you'll have to.
Okay.
So, how's everybody been enjoying their TSU experience so far? We'll start with Kristen, since you're already talking. What do you think of it so far?
I think it's pretty cool. It reminds me of a unique hybrid of Twitter and Instagram and Facebook. I like it. I found that I haven't really gotten into the habit of using it like I have Facebook, but it seems pretty cool. I wish that the people that I follow on Facebook would also use TSU.
Eventually, in time, they will. It creates a lot of cognitive dissonance so far, because, like, it defies the whole misery paradigm. Like, you know, we believe that we can only make money in a legitimate way if we're suffering and bleeding as a corporate slave. So like the idea that you can make money just having fun and being yourself is kind of cognitive dissonance.
And I think people also feel like, well, even if I do make money, it's not going to be anything significant, so why should I switch over from what I've been using to that?
They want to plant the tree seed today and expect a 40-foot tree tomorrow, and life just does not work like that.
Plus, Facebook's pretty addictive.
Yeah.
It's hard to break old habits.
Well, TSU isn't meant to replace Facebook. It's its own thing. No one's saying use one or the other. Reality is a cake, not a light switch. It's not this or that. It's this and that, you know?
Yeah.
What Kristen described there is kind of, you know, what Katerina's referred to as kind of getting over our protocol Nazi. You know, the whole idea of, oh, we gotta post 5 times a day every day in order for it to be viable, and then if we want to post 10 times a day instead of 5, then that's too much, and then people might hate us, and, you know, all these logical fallacies, protocol Nazism.
Yep.
Yeah, like, I don't go on it every day, but I do go on it at least, but not every day.
Yeah. I mean, you only have to go on it every day. I mean, just post what you like, just the same as Facebook, no different from Facebook. On Facebook, no one's thinking, oh my God, I gotta go on it every day and do it a certain way, otherwise my friends are gonna hate me or whatever. It's just Facebook. It's just there, it's Facebook, it's whatever.
You know what I really like about TSU is like all of the different channels that you can post to. Like I'm really starting to explore and enjoy those because like I can tell that like if I have a piece of content that is relevant, like I just know that I can post it. I think it's very different from the sense of like Facebook groups where some groups allow you to post stuff, some don't, whatever. I just noticed that there's not so much censorship on TSU. Like people don't really care so much if you're posting your own stuff or even things that you write into these channels. Or, you know, the PSEC media channel is a good example. There's just a lot of stuff out there that people are just like, yes, please, give me more content. That's the vibe I get.
It's cool.
Yeah, there's PSEC media channel, DeviantArt channel, Sitting Bull, who's going to be joining us on the simulcast. He runs a few channels like the Anonymous Collective and Activism Plus, and then there's DeviantArt Controversy Inc., which is run by Richard Hamilton, and Richard Hamilton also runs the NASA Headquarters channel, which is an aerospace and aviation group. So yeah, there's all these different you know, channels, and you know, you can post to the broader channels if you want, but then your content kind of gets lost in a sea of everybody else's content. Under the main ones, there's all the sub-channels, you know, like the stuff that we listed, and people can create channels and whatever, and it really lets you more specifically target your content so that it's really easy to direct it to the audiences that are interested and that actually give a shit.
So it's essentially kind of like a bigger version of hashtags, more broad version, because
it's more like, it's almost like Facebook groups but without all the stupidity. Instead of like these Naziistic little protocol driven groups, it's just, you know, a public channel or public group is just it's a category, and you know, you place content in that category, whereas Facebook groups can be really confusing and stupid. TSU kind of makes it straightforward and easy.
Because sometimes they're closed groups, sometimes they're not. And yeah, what Katerina said about how people are more anal on Facebook, I've noticed that.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah.
What's posted in general.
Yeah.
If I posted some of the stuff I saw on TSU onto Facebook.
I know, people would like flip a bitch. They would just be like, what?
Yeah, there'd be a lot of cows happening if you posted all that.
Yeah, Facebook is freaking psychotic.
Maybe I think it has to do with obviously the fact that it takes a certain person who's willing to use TSU even though it's new. It's probably the type of person who's less likely to get butthurt over really stupid shit.
Yeah.
Yeah. I've noticed. I've noticed that even when people get butthurt on
she would never use TSU.
I've noticed when people get butthurt on TSU, not only is it rare, but it's really peaceful. Like, oh my god, they didn't like something you posted, so they block you, and then it's done. It's not like weeks and weeks of drama and agony and blah, 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 like on Facebook. You don't have the Facebook wars on TSU. If someone doesn't like you, they just block you, and then that's it. There's not all this, like, back forth.
Yeah. The idea of a Facebook war is so silly.
It is.
Yeah.
I will be right back.
Okay.
All right.
Okay.
All right. Well, in about 2 minutes, I should be receiving that
So,
nice little connection.
are we
with
talking about this on the radio show?
Yeah, we're gonna be talking about it as pertains to world events, topics, and stuff. So Sean's gonna be talking about what's going on in the world, and then we're going to merge it in with TSU. Like, you know, with X issue, TSU can help resolve X issue in X way, and bring people
TSU,
together.
the Band-Aid for the world! Ah!
Hopefully not a Band-Aid, more like a new foundation.
The shot in the arm the world needs.
The vaccine that doesn't cause autism.
No! Sexy! What you eating, strawberries?
Yes.
It's like the song says. It's like the song says, "You look so much cuter with something in your mouth."
Only you would know that song, Dave.
Yeah, he would.
Oh, God, that's hilarious.
It's a popular song. It's one of those things that's constantly overplayed.
Mm-hmm.
I haven't heard it, but
I haven't
Like how-
either.
Really, like how Once Upon a Time, Truly, Madly, Deeply was like seriously overplayed.
Oh my god.
Okay,
I remember that
Here we
song.
go. Here we go. Mute out. Here we go, guys.
Okay, bring your volume levels down. You guys are real loud. Who's there? Is Dave you on?
Yeah, we're all here. Everybody mute, guys. Everybody mute. Mute out.
Hey, you're distorting really bad there,
I don't want to
Dave.
get a divorce or burial.
I'm here, Sean. Hi, Sitting Bull.
Stage one of the destroy our civilization.
All right, guys, go
Okay.
ahead and mute. We're going to go live here in about a minute and 45 seconds. So, and Dave, you're just distorting bad, so you might want to bring your volume
Wow.
levels down a bit.
All right. I'll try my best here.
Help keep straight couples from getting divorced and hating their children.
How you doing, Sitting Bull?
Pose gay.
Hey, how you doing?
I'm good, man.
By the coalition of people
Is this
whose
any
lives are
better?
ruined when people are treated
Yeah,
equally.
you're still pretty distorted.
Damn, I don't know why that's happening.
It sounded like it got better because you almost backed off your mic.
For answers to the big questions, such as, where did the universe come from? Where did we come from? Why are we here? Are we alone? And just what the heck is the Sasquatch all about? I can't promise you answers, and neither can the Woo-Hoo, but they invite you to join them Friday night at 7 p.m. Eastern, midnight in the UK, for Freaky Friday, exclusively on Truth Frequency Radio. Spirituality, multiverse, quantum mechanics, the occult, and so much conspiracy analysis that it will make your mind melt.
Will's room.
Take my word for it. Freaky Friday. It's more than a show. It's a way of life. I am Stephen Hawking, and I am proud to be a Wookiee.
Whoever's not muted.
Your protection from deception. This is Truth Frequency Radio.
All right, here we go, guys. From the biggest little city in the world in the clear blue waters of Lake Tahoe, broadcasting from an undisclosed location in the Truckee River Valley on True Frequency Radio, this is the Awakening Liberty Show with Sean Caron.
If you came to prove, there's no reason to prove.
Peace.
And now you've got yourself something funky.
Hello and welcome to the Awakening Liberty Show right here on TruthFrequencyRadio.com. Another day in the trenches fighting what's going on in the world today. Boy, it's been crazy. We've just had all kinds of things going on. Man, it's a little bit overwhelming. As I was telling my friend who's going to be on the show today, Sitting Bull, a member of Anonymous, it is a little bit overwhelming, and things are coming to a head, it seems like. I mean, there's an end game in play, and there's all kinds of things going on in the world that are seemingly unimaginable. But I keep doing what I'm doing. I keep getting into the trenches. I keep doing this, and I'm trying to do it not for myself, but I'm trying to do it for other people. I'm trying to do it so that I'm just going to put it to you this way. I'm going to shoot you straight. I'm trying to do everything I do for the glory of God, for the glory of goodness, compassion. And he keeps telling me to persevere, but I want to throw my arms up in the air. Because what we see going on in the world today is just, like I said, it's unimaginable. In my spiritual journey throughout doing radio for the last year and a half or so, has brought me around to a lot of understanding about what's going on. And I can make it as complicated as I want. I can delve into metaphysics. I can delve into the New Age. I can delve into all of this disinformation that we see within the truth movement, all this divisiveness, that we see within the truth movement, which really compounds the fear. And I think Sitting Bulls today, we're going to talk a little bit about op unity, and I'm really looking forward to hearing that from him. But we've got a virtual roundtable today. We're going to be talking about a lot of things that are going on in the world. We're going to be talking about a new social media network called TSU. TSU. If you haven't seen it yet, it's a great social media site, and many of us are using it there because we don't have the invasiveness of the federal government. We don't have the corporate structure that is robbing everybody blind. So we're going to be talking about that. We're going to be talking about real solutions, as the promo graphic for this week said, real people, real radio, real solutions, and ideas about how we can overcome this. But when it comes to me, keep it simple, stupid, because I have always had a tenacity for overcomplicating things. And when I look at what's going on in the world, that's easy to do. I'm not wanting to go there anymore. I'm trying to keep this as simple as I possibly can. And for me, that boils down to the fact that I am a follower of Yeshua and the Most High God. And what is really going on here in the world, and I'm going to shoot you straight, is there is a battle, a spiritual battle of good and evil that stems from an angelic rebellion that we saw happen in Genesis 6. It's real. And humankind's unexplained plight is analogous to this experimental drama being played out in the angelic realm. And the outcome is going to condemn or justify that angelic rebellion that we see in Genesis 6. I mean, is all humankind going to rebel and battle Lucifer and cause its own extinction? Or will the elect or the saints or the believers still choose God through free choice, even when the mainstream of humankind ushers in the dominion of Satan, and choose God through that free choice? Lately I've been looking at Corinthians a lot. 1 Corinthians chapter 10, verses 24 through 25. And it sums up my life. Everything is permissible, but not everything is beneficial. Everything is permissible, but not everything is constructive. I have spent most of my life living in that everything is permissible side. Every debauchery, every type of wickedness. My spiritual journey has come to the point where that everything is permissible, how I lived my life, never ended in anything good. Chaos, destruction, over and over and over again. Everything is permissible? Okay, sure. But again, is it constructive? Is it beneficial? How's it working for you? It didn't work real well for me. And I've come to the realization when I read Job that it is a microcosm of what humanity is engaged in today. Job was blameless. He was righteous. He served God with love, compassion, and God blessed him with everything. And Satan comes to God, and God says, have you considered Job? And Satan says, no, because you have had your hedge around him. And he says, but give me a chance, and I will tempt Job, and he will certainly curse you to your face. So God said, sure, go ahead. Satan did that. And Job didn't curse God. It is a microcosm of what is happening to all of humanity right now. All of humanity is being tempted to either usher in the dominion of Lucifer, Satan, the enemy, or to choose God through free will. And for me, this is a spiritual thing. And part of me wants to just, I don't know, part of me wants to go into the monastic life and do nothing but try to gain spiritual progress. However, I've embarked on this journey. God says persevere. Keep doing what you're doing. Do not let the worries of the world overwhelm you. Look for solutions. My primary motivating factor is my son. My primary motivating factor is everybody else's kids and grandkids. What we see happening in this world, I think that it's already been written what's going to happen. Most of us already know how this is going to end. But it's a matter of, are we going to choose, what side are we going to choose? Are we going to choose to bow to Lucifer, or are we going to choose to go with God? The compassion, the love, the goodness. Seek not to do for yourself, but to do only for others. I guess that's why I'm doing radio. I guess that's why I do this show. And again, I want to throw my arms up in the air sometimes. Sorry, I had to get that rant out there. Sitting Bull, are you there?
Yes, I am. That was a pretty good rant. Pretty moving.
Welcome to the show, Sitting Bull. It's great to have you on, man.
I can't disagree with much of it. You know, I wanted to announce our op. It's op We Are One is what it's called, and it's about unity. And unity is important. You talk there about which side are we going to choose. And we already know how this is going to end, and yeah, most of us do. So why would we fight? Why would we keep battling? Well, it's pretty simple. For me, anyways, I can't side with evil. I can't do that. So I'll keep fighting, and I understand that the fight is really not mine. The fight's in God's hands. The end has already been established. And we know that. But we have to choose a side. We have to unite on that side. And if we do, things are going to come out just fine for us. We might see some things that we really don't like. I tell you, some of what we see, Sean, is pretty troubling.
This is definitely true. I mean, and we got to get unity here. And I want to go ahead and bring Dave on here. We had a few sound issues on his end. I want to see how it's sounding. Dave, are you with us?
Yes, I'm with you.
Good deal, Dave. It sounds a little bit better. So, everybody, I just want everyone to know that we are now simulcasting also on Google Hangouts. And I want to welcome everybody who is listening via Dave Kelso's Google Hangout and who's listening in the chat room here today on truthfrequencyradio.com. We are going to be having...
Can I give the link for that? Because we're in full video mode, so anybody who actually wants to see all of us, they could go to the PSEC documentary, that's PSEC documentary channel on YouTube, and right on the main page it'll say live now, and you know it'll have the video window, and we have Jennifer Codak, Katerina, Roy, Krista Pohl, Kristen, Meyer, and myself, and you could see all of our lovely smiling faces here. So anybody who wants the video version of this can go ahead, and you're sounding crystal clear, Sean, so we're good.
Okay, I'm glad I'm sounding really good. Skype's been really weird lately, but you're still pretty distorted. So if you either can turn down your volume or you can just back off your microphone. I'm not sure if you're using a headset or if you're using a mic.
Oh, we're using we got all our volume levels set properly. It might just be something weird with the bridge. I've got two laptops, connecting everything together, and then the computer that I'm actually talking to you on. And this bridge has never had distortion before. You could look in the YouTube archives for the simulcast, and there's never been distortion. So I think maybe because Skype has just been having so many issues lately, and there's just been so much going on, and not to mention all the frequency bombardment that the elites hit us with to disrupt technologies, and it's a soup, and it's just a mess of things, and we can only just do the best we can. This sort of stuff, obviously it's not a perfect science, and we just roll the best we can. As long as you can clearly hear us, as long as we're understandable, like you can understand my words, then I'm just looking for clarity, not perfection,
I hear you, and I can understand you. So but I would suggest that everybody speak a little bit slowly because it does get garbled a little, but it's mostly distortion. So anyway, I want to welcome you both to the show, and I want to thank you, Dave, for actually doing a simulcast on Google Hangouts. It's great to be doing this type of virtual roundtable, most definitely. Now, we were talking with Sitting Bull here a little bit. He's a member of Anonymous. He's also a fellow Christian. He's a follower of the Most High God and Yeshua, as am I. And as I opened up, trying to figure out this unity thing amongst humankind, the first thing we need to understand is that we are divided by an enemy. Is that not the case?
Absolutely, it is. The battle is in the spiritual realm. We're not battling against flesh and blood, against other people, not at all. And it's easy to make that mistake. The Bible says we're in the world, but we're not of the world. Well, you can't mistake it. We are in the world. We see all of this going on and everything, so you can't mistake that. But what I think really goes well with a operation about unity is this, and it's hard to separate this really from anything, and that is the power of positive thinking. And I learned a long time ago that when I get up in the morning and start my day, how my attitude at that time makes all the difference in the world. If I have a good attitude, I'm going to have a pretty good day. If I have a bad attitude, same thing. I have a pretty bad day, and it almost without fail it works like that. You're never going to prevent having things go wrong. They are going to go wrong.
Well, those are the things that we have to endure in this life, and good grief, again, looking towards the eternal and not focusing on the ways of the world. Dave, hang on, because I'm a little rattled today. I got to tell you, folks, that Sitting Bull and I have a friend who's in trouble, and he's been making some comments that allude to the fact that he may be considering checking out. And Michael, if you're listening today, I want you to call into the show. Okay, I'm not going to use your last name, but I want you to call into the show, and I want to quickly tell you that I am praying that if you try to do this, I am going to pray that God puts a hedge around you to protect you from yourself, because that is the ultimate FU to.
Amen.
That is what the enemy wants all of us to do. They want us in fear. They want us in terror. They want us without hope, and they want us in despair. He wants us in despair. But we can endure what's going on in this world, and we can influence some change. I do believe that, because I see a lot of people waking up. But I would ask for your prayers, all of you listeners on Google Hangout, also on Pyramid One Network, WLIR Australia, who will be listening on rebroadcast, IPMNation.com. Please say a prayer for my friend Michael. He's up against it right now, and he's in that despair. So, pardon me if my intro is a little rattled today, But when a friend says that they're thinking about checking out, I had to do something. I had to say something. I had to bring forth it. So
it's okay, Sean. You're reacting as any human would. You know, I mean, you know, you've got compassion. You care about people, and I really like your opening rant. As a matter of fact, a while back, I synchronistically aligned with this pair of shoes that has a Bible verse written on it, and it's an awesome Bible verse, Romans 12:2. It says, "Do not conform any longer to the pattern of this world, but be transformed by the renewing of your mind." And I think that's the challenge for humanity right now.
It certainly is a challenge, and we do need to set our sights on the eternal and not the ways of the world. And I don't mean to keep harping on that, but that's really what it is, because quite frankly, I've been faced and been buried deep in Ecclesiastes too, and that's a very, very dark book in the Bible. But at the same time, and it can be misinterpreted, at the same time, it's just talking about how short we are here, how meaningless things are here. And what we do endure here is actually for the rewards of the next life, of the spirituality of heaven, and everything that the Most High God has promised us. So thank you for bringing that Bible verse, definitely. And your comments on that, Sitting Bull.
Well, Ecclesiastes is like you say, it's a dark book, and what Ecclesiastes is actually is Solomon, his search for truth apart from God, and that's what he wrote down. And if you'll notice, he kept saying over and over, "All is vanity, all is vanity." It's, you know, and another thing that he says that really stands out is there's nothing new under the sun, and there really isn't, Sean. We have all this technology and everything, but how much has it really changed the core issues in life? It hasn't. It's helped us to communicate, yes, but other than that, there's not really anything new under the sun. Evil is still evil, good is still good, and there's not anything we can do to change those, other than to choose which side we're going to be on. That's all we can do, and then we can try to influence others to make the right choice.
Right. And let's talk a little bit about unity here, because I know that Dave can do into this. And again, I'm going to ask you, Dave, if you're using a wireless headset, kind of pull your microphone away, because you were distorting to the point where we couldn't almost hear you or understand you. Try pulling that microphone just another inch away. But talking about unity, one of the things that I have been, it's been bothering me quite a bit lately, is the fact that even within the truth movement, I see this diversity of you know, you can talk about this, but you can't talk about that. That's disinfo. This is real info. And people seem to be putting themselves up on this all-knowing pedestal. And it bothers me, especially in the fact that I wear a 9/11 truth banner. People in there, I saw a post the other day, we have to talk about this flat earth psyop. You guys are all crazy. How do they know that? And how do they come off? And this is one thing that's really bothered me, is people have come off to me and said, you're a Christian, you have no business being in the truth movement. Now it's the flat earth. Now it's going to be the hollow earth. Now it's going to be aliens. The next thing that's going to come is, I guess here's my point, is that you've got people within the movement saying, we need to be unified, yet they are partaking and participating in divisiveness simply by telling other people what is real and what is not. They don't even know. The truth is always an exploratory process, and if you come to a conclusion, then you should re-examine it again. And I see that happening in the truth movement. Would you agree with that, Dave?
Oh yeah, I would totally agree with that. You know, as my friend Max Egan likes to say, you know, everything is made of energy, so as far as the shape of the earth is concerned, I'm shape agnostic. The most important thing is that we all treat each other as we wish to be treated and unite in that way. We don't have to agree with each other on everything, but, you know, respecting each other would be a good first step. I'd also like to say that Katerina has been undergoing a very powerful spiritual journey lately, and her and her husband are very, shall we say, metaphysical Christian, and she has just been experiencing some amazing things, and if it's all right with you, I would like her to get on her soapbox with that as pertains to our discussion, if that's okay with you.
Absolutely. Katerina, you're live on the Awakening Liberty Show.
Hi there, Sean.
Hi, Katerina.
In the context of what you're talking about, I see it as well. I mean, especially being a person who bridges so many different backgrounds of religion, and I have been on this path for probably close to 10 years now of just really seeking truth and trying to understand what there is, what's going on in this world, and like why are we feeling the way that we're feeling inside of ourselves, and why is it that this experience is being mirrored all around us with all of the discontent in the world and all of the issues that we're having. And I'm finding in myself, just the more that I'm dropping in and asking and seeking inside and talking to God and just taking my time to kind of shut off the world. That's funny that you're reading Ecclesiastes. My husband and I are actually going through that book right now too. So I understand what you're talking about, this whole everything is meaningless thing. But at the same time, I feel like there is that strong call inside to continue to seek truth and to continue to seek love, especially in a world where we see so many things that are unlike love, you know? And I think that being able to really connect with that every day, just like Sitting Bull was talking about, connecting with that, it helps give us a buoy, like that spiritual buoy, to know that God is in control of everything, even the spiritual battle that we're looking at and seeing in the world, like all of the good and evil, all of it. It's like this grand cosmic show that God's playing out, and I feel very blessed to be a part of it, actually, even when it looks kind of messy and we see things like the Orlando shooting, or we see things like just any sort of atrocity that happens in the world. I still feel this deep, deep, abiding sense of peace, knowing that I could die tomorrow and I'm going to be okay, and the world could go however it's going to go, and I know that God is still holding it in His hand. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and it is interesting that, and a lot of people have told me that they've been reading Ecclesiastes lately, and you know, the whole thing, there's nothing new under the sun. It has all been done before. It's always here before we were. It was all here long ago, and that I see so much of what's going on in the world. And I said this to Sitting Bull earlier, is I feel like I'm chasing the wind, that I'm banging my head against the wall. However, exposing this evil, then we go to Ezekiel and 33:6. Talking about, you know, we as watchmen, we have to warn people about what is going on, but at the same time, achieving that balance has been difficult for me because I get overwhelmed. It's like, you know,
I understand.
I'm a watchman. Yeah, you got to find the balance in there somewhere. And go ahead.
I understand so much that balance, because I actually personally work in the healing world. Like I've done a lot of healing work just individually with people, and I understand the sense of overwhelm. So I've been approaching the empowerment phase, just talking to people individually, and I really admire what you're doing of getting up there and like telling everybody about all of the atrocities in the world. But for someone like you, I could really see how it could get very overwhelming very quickly when you're inundated with this stuff. And, you know, your own spiritual practice, your own spiritual seeking is the thing that's going to be able to give you that buoy and that peace. Because beyond all of this whole ephemeral world that we live in, you know, that peace and that solace that you find inside of yourself within your connection to God is going to be that thing that will give you that overflowing joy and that overflowing love and that overflowing kindness towards the world, even though it looks so dysfunctional.
And I would agree with that. And I'm just going to read a passage here out of a book by William Creasy, who was actually written by Thomas A. Kempis in the year 1441. It's called The Imitation of Christ. And it talks about seeking knowledge. Nevertheless, many people have chosen to seek knowledge rather than to live well, and they are often led astray, and their lives come to very little or nothing at all. Oh, if they would apply such diligence to rooting out vices and implanting virtues as they do in posing questions, there would not be so many evils and scandals among people, nor would there be much laxity in our religious communities. I found that very, very profound when I read that last night, because that's the balance I'm seeking. Expose the evil, but concentrate on myself to the point where I'm trying to root out my vices. And everybody knows who listens on a regular basis. I'm a friend of Bill W. I've been clean and sober for a long time. I'm a washed up rock star. I went through sex, drugs, and rock and roll, and that life for me, I'm not going to close the door on it, because that makes me who I am today. But it also elucidated the evil in the world, not just in the music industry, but in the world for me. But that's where the balance that we all got to find is like, okay, let's expose these people, but realize that there is a solution. It has already been done. It has already been placed. It has been won. In Luke, Jesus Christ, 3 days dead in the ground, visits the abyss and tells them all, it is over.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
May I add a thought?
Yes.
One thing that seems to be very pivotal and important with all of this is...
Oh, hold on, Dave. We're going to a break. I wasn't even watching the here. I'm in passion. The Awakening Liberty Show on Truth Frequency Radio. We'll be right back. This is a virtual roundtable. Everybody stay tuned.
Warning. Warning. The following message will destroy your paradigm. Proceed with caution. The apocalypse is upon us, brothers and sisters. The great revealing is now. The people have spoken and will no longer be manipulated by snake oil salesmen, masquerading as talk networks and alternative media. The new standard is set. This is the line in the sand. Stand with us to fulfill the mission to raise the consciousness of humanity. Stand against us and be exposed by the light we shine. We are TFR, your 100% listener-supported station, and the last bastion of unadulterated truth. Join the media shift by becoming a TFR supporter today, and send a clear message that the mission will not be jeopardized by corporate greed. Together, we will stand.
Dave, can you hear me?
As protection from deception.
Dave, can you hear me?
Yes, I can.
Hi, I'm Gil Fulbright, and the people who bankroll my political career tell me I'm running for president. So here I am.
He's going to try to call in later, but his day is kind of run over.
I will be using throughout this entire campaign.
Yeah, I've got a caller here, 541.
I may not be qualified to be president, but a dramatic camera angle can make me look.
That's Richard.
President.
Richard? Okay, I'll bring you up next segment.
The courage to point. And the experience to cram buzzwords into everything I job.
Yeah, your feed is just
ideas,
distorted,
policies.
So, we'll just work through
These are things I don't need. Every 4 years, Americans are faced with a critical choice: Clinton or Bush or someone else. Well, I'm Gil Fulbright. With a big enough donor, I can be that someone else.
In the next few months, I'll see what I can do to upgrade my setup.
It just sounds like you're too close to the mic. That's
a long-time recreational eater turns pro. It's the Onion Radio News. This is Doyle Redland reporting. Local man Bud Klemper has carefully nurtured his dream of becoming a full-time competitive eater since the day he polished off a 12-piece bucket of Popeye's fried chicken at age 9. Today, with the help of his wife Nancy's decade-long regimen of gargantuan meals, Bud has power-gorged his way to professional status. Wife and trainer Nancy Klemper.
For as long as I've known him, Lou's been able to eat 20 or 30 hot dogs in one sitting. He could definitely go far.
Only 3 weeks on the circuit, and Klemper has already earned enough money to purchase more food. Doyle Redland for the Onion Radio News, online at theonion.com.
No hate, no hype, no fear.
You're listening to Truth Frequency Radio.
We are TFR.
I'll bust it one time. Truth and liberty. Fighting the New World Order and the tyranny. The Awakening Liberty Show with Sean Caron.
And welcome back to the Awakening Liberty Show right here on truthfrequencyradio.com, your protection from deception. The number to call in all across America, all around the world is 866-37-TRUTH. Again, that number 866-378-7884. And again, I want to welcome everybody who is listening in Google Hangouts. I also want to welcome everybody who might be listening on the rebroadcast on the Pyramid 1 Channel 2 network, along with WLIR Australia and IPMNation.com. My shows are being broadcast over there as well. It's an honor and a privilege to have these other networks saying, hey, we'd like to share your show. And it's been this is a very humbling experience. That's another thing my spiritual life has been leading me to, is humility. You know, I was talking about the imitation of Christ before the end of the last break, and that reading came from chapter 3. It's called Of the Teaching of Truth. Happy is that person whom truth itself teaches, not by figures of speech and eloquent language, which I'm not gifted in, but as it is itself. Our opinions and our understandings often lead us astray and offer us very little insight. What good is a brilliant argument about hidden and obscure matters when God does not judge us by our knowledge of such things? Another great passage in The Imitation of Christ. I highly recommend the book. You can get it on Amazon. Just Google Imitation of Christ. Go ahead, Dave. Before the end of the break, I had to cut you off there.
It's okay. Completely understandable. One thing that's kind of been pivotal in this for me is the understanding that if we look at everything objectively, I'm just going to give a disclaimer and be careful of my context, because I'm just going to build quickly to a point. Everything, all circumstances are neutral, and by that I mean kind of like horse manure. You know what I mean? So we can either look at everything as opportunity, or we can look at it as burden. We can act as if the horse manure is victimizing us and forcing us to roll around in it, or we can go ahead and plant a garden with it. So everything that's happening is an opportunity for that unity that you were talking about. And one person who is on the line with us right now, who has been having an amazing journey learning about the whole opportunity versus burden, and doing a really good job at learning how to empower herself, is Kristen Meyer. And if it's okay, I would like her to unmute and tell us about her personal journey in that.
Kristen, you are live on the Awakening Liberty Show, and before we bring you on, I want to say that Richard Hamilton is also...
Okay. Am I okay to talk?
I'm hearing a lot of feedback. I'm not sure who that's coming from.
Yeah, there's an awful lot of noise there. Go ahead, and even Skype says I got a lot of background noise. So try to clean her call up there, Dave, and then we can bring her back on. I do believe Richard Hamilton is on the line.
Hi. You guys hear me okay? My phone's probably just not doing a good job. I might not be able to speak, but thanks for trying.
Actually, I can hear you okay now, Kristen. Go ahead and introduce yourself.
Okay, well, hello. My name is Kristen Meyer. This is my first time doing anything with online radio besides our Google Hangouts, which are a little bit similar, but hello, thanks for letting PSEC on and Paradigm Shift in Educational Comedy. I've done a little bit with them, and Dave's been a great friend of mine, helping me to learn a little bit about the world that I hadn't known before, and I've met some really cool people through Dave, like Katerina and Richard Hamilton, and Katerina and Dave and Rich are all very inspiring people to me, so I found that just being friends with them has helped me learn a lot about like Dave said, empowerment, not learning to not really take everything that I see outside of me, all the really crappy things that I see in the world, and look at it as a reason to not continue on and not put myself out there and hide inside my shell, and instead use it as more of a reason to come outside of my shell and help other people, try to inspire other people, try to actually be kind to other people. Because if you can inspire enough people to do that, we can win this fight. We can build a new world based in love and not based in fear, like it is so permeates our society right now. And I am by no means perfect at this at all. I'd say a majority of the time I spend inside of my cave, but I've been coming out more and more.
You're breaking up really bad, so we'll try to get you back on here, but you're making some great points, okay?
Well, it was nice to talk. Thank you.
We need to bring love back, but we also need to bring the idea that it is not of this. You're involved in a spiritual battle, so.
The connection is starting to distort on my end too. This is weird. I needed to disconnect the bridge. The whole thing was distorting out. Can you hear me? You can all unmute now.
Yeah, what was that about?
Yeah, no doubt. Like it's just like crazy.
My laptops started overheating. I gotta give that a few minutes.
Get a fan on them things.
I'm kidding. Actually, I think in the future, in the near future, I should set up a couple of actual regular systems for this bridge instead of using laptops. That was crazy. I've never had it completely go like that.
So
did you guys make out anything I was saying?
I did.
Oh yeah, we did. We did just fine, and they could hear you too until it started glitching and distorting.
What did you say, Krista?
Oh, I had recommended to Dave earlier to maybe use some ice packs and a towel.
Yeah, Dave, your laptop's got sunburned. They need ice packs and a towel.
Yeah. I just messaged Sean on Skype. I said, laptop's overheating, give us 10 minutes.
Here, Dave, I got some ice for you.
Yeah, right. Yeah, and when that hits the laptop and turns to water, I'm sure the snap, crackle, pop will just be the laptop saying thank you before they die. Thanks for the drink! About change of perspectives and stuff like we were just talking about. In the past, I would have been so pissed off. I would have been seeing this so much as burden and everything's going wrong and when I would have driven myself so crazy. But, with the perspectives I have now, I'm like, okay, I'm just going to wait 10 minutes, let the laptops cool down a little bit and try it again. And now this is just a lesson learned that tells me I need to just upgrade my shit.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I mean, this is the first simulcast that this, has ever happened with. Anybody listening, if you go through, into the playlists on the PSEC documentary channel, and you go to the Skype-Google Simulcast playlist, and you listen to all of the other, internet radio simulcasts and stuff that we've done, this never happened. This is a first. So I think this is God and the universe telling me to open up to the abundance of upgrading my shit. So,
I agree.
Yeah.
The devil's in your laptops, Dave.
Yes. Satan just jumped from the rectums of the elites into my laptops and is, raping my laptops here with the satanic electronic dildo, and it is what it is.
So funny.
Yeah.
Well, work your magic and fix it. You fix computers all the time, so fix it.
Jennifer, your stepmother's in my laptops. I blame you.
Oh, it ain't my fault. No, I didn't send her. I did not send her. It ain't my fault. Dave, you kidnapped her.
I haven't been to Woodhell lately.
I haven't been there since I was, maybe 16 years old.
Yeah, so I'm
Do you
just
think it would be okay if I got off of here?
Nope, you're trapped.
No, you're stuck. You can't do anything unless we tell you you have permission to.
Yeah.
That was your mommy talking.
Obey the satanic elites. You will take Kissinger's dick in your butthole.
I know.
Your mommy has spoken.
Give Kristen another chance to rephrase that in an empowered way.
Part of me wants to get off the call, but part of me wants to stay because I kind of might get to talk again, and it's interesting. But my family's about to eat dinner.
Well,
You
how about
can't
you
eat
say,
dinner.
I'm going to catch you guys later, and if you guys are still on, I'll hop back on after dinner.
All right, no problem. I'll let you know.
All right, guys. I hope that the rest of the call goes well.
All right, bye, Kristen.
Bye, beautiful.
Well, you ever notice how physical reality manifests to be a real life example of exactly what the fuck you're talking about at the time?
Mm-hmm.
Every day.
Yep.
Yeah, it's like freaking clockwork, man. It's just like when you're talking about somebody and they call, or you're talking about something and then it happens and shit like that. It's like that happens to me so much. So, this is just yet another one of those instances. So to our viewers, we can be the change that we're wanting to create and set the example of what not being a triggly, puffy, whiny, entitled bitch looks like, and how to actually approach this in in a better way. And you know what? As far as the rest of the rest of what's going on right now in the background on the Awakening Liberty show, as the connection has split in two now, what I can do after all this is I can just take the MP3 download from the Awakening Liberty show and then download this episode once we're done with it and kind of cut, paste, and bridge, and fill in the gaps so that nobody misses anything. So, yay, abundance. Instead of one PSEC episode, we get two. That's looking at it in the opportunity, not burden, sort of way.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so for those of you wanting to catch the other side of the live stream that just crashed, you can go to truthfrequencyradio.com, and they're still doing that thing on there. And if you go to there, if you don't want to listen to it with your web browser, there is a dial-in number. So you could still be on this with your computer, and you could dial in on your cell phone or whatever, and got both going on, and really give your brain a multitasking challenge, and possibly a migraine.
I got ice for that.
Oh, and they're trying to link back in, but I don't have the bridge up.
I'm falling.
I'm falling.
My tablet case broke yesterday.
Oh.
So I don't have a back on it to stand it up. I'm standing it up against a pillow.
Oh, there you go.
They're trying to connect us, and he said, "Dave, your call dropped. I'll bring you back on again at the next break." I said, "I'm not ready to come back yet. Laptop's still cooling. I'll let you know when to bring us back in." The perils of technology here. But it's all good. It's just a learning experience. That's fine.
It's all good.
So with that, let's see here. Yeah.
You're doing very well, Dave.
Yes.
Handling this like a champ.
Even a few years ago, I'd have been like totally freaking out, like.
I know. It would have been so tense.
Yeah, no kidding. But we're just handling it with
We're all laughing.
here. We're doing this paradigm shifting stuff like a boss, so
Fuck
it's
yeah.
just like, all right, it's all good. It's all good. Somebody's phones are ringing.
Yeah, it was my house phone. It's a private caller. I don't answer them.
Yeah.
Yeah, me neither.
And the battery's dead on it anyways.
So I'm just continuing to check the temperature of my laptops with my hands here, so when it feels a little more cooler, I will re-engage, the connection and all that.
Dave,
a bit better. That's weird. This is the first time that's ever happened. Usually these laptops do not fail so epic.
It's just the energies. What, Krista?
I said, I know that there's a way that if he, until he can get things all set up to actually update his supplies, there's actually a fairly easy way to make your own indoor air conditioning out of a styrofoam.
Yeah. Well, this room has an air. There's an air conditioner in this room. That's not the problem.
Well, I'm just thinking, like, if you can direct your cold air more toward the machines, might be beneficial. I don't know. I'm just throwing ideas.
There's cooling fans and stuff like that too.
I've got a big ass fan, like a big box fan, set on maximum setting, pointed right at me right now.
Well, Dave, it's not fast enough. You need to speed it up. There's not enough cold air coming from it.
Or it's not cold enough. We need your stepmother in here because an ice cold bitch should cool things up quite nicely.
Well, Dave, go get her.
Okay, so we need a medium. Let's bring Daphne on so that we can channel Satan.
That poor girl. That's a horrible thing to wish.
Don't push that on her. I wouldn't wish her on anybody.
I'd wish her on Hillary Clinton, but those two probably like each other.
Well, I wouldn't even wish her on my own worst enemy. So.
Because what difference does it make? Let's make America triggered again. Let's crawl into our city spaces. Get this hate speech off of this hangout! Get this hate speech off of this hangout! Yeah.
Gosh, Dave and I last night we were up and he was sending me like all of the different videos from all over the internet of like all of the Triggly Puff stuff. It was so funny.
Like, wow, you are really, 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 really special.
We all know Dave is special.
No, I'm not Trigglypuff.
No, Trigglypuff.
She's the special little pumpkin.
She was a special little pumpkin, yeah. She was very angry.
She has much love for the world, and she expresses her love by going, "Fuck you! Fuck you!"
Yeah.
Oh, good lord.
Entitled little spoiled brat. If you don't agree with me, then it's hate speech. Yeah, whatever.
It's probably not what Malcolm X and all of the other freedom fighters had in mind, but that's all good.
Tyler Davenport without the penis. Good lord. Yeah, I do not know why these overheated so nasty style, but I'm going to take that as a sign that there's some better computer technology in my future, so I'm just going to look for that.
Very good, Dave.
I'm just going to take that as a sign that
upgrades are coming.
My reality is expanding because, stagnation is death, expansion is life, and life is change, and, people who are addicted to sameness and don't want anything to change, they're stagnating in this yucky, death-like, half-alive, existence, like the
I've been there. I know what that's like.
We are in the zombie apocalypse. Thank you.
I've been a zombie.
Education or indoctrination. I think that mainstream school is like an antonym of actual education.
Mm-hmm.
Dave, did you ever apply for that thing that you sent me the other day for like $25 an hour?
No, you're gonna be the guinea pig. If it works for you, I'll go ahead and But
I need people to sign up underneath me to make it work.
Trent sent me that.
I actually tried, and I'm still waiting for emails. I don't know if it had an issue or.
Yeah, if it requires people to sign up under you to get paid for watching frickin' videos like they say, then that kind of smells like a rat to me.
No.
Well, see, like, it did mine, like, right away. Like, I was actually talking with Dave on Facebook while I was doing it.
Oh,
and,
yeah.
like,
See,
it took, like, maybe
2
2 minutes to get the email.
Yeah.
And you need to be at least 21 and have a high school diploma to watch a fucking video. What the fuck, really?
I was like, what the fuck does a high school diploma have to do with watching YouTube videos? I get on YouTube every day and watch them videos.
Are we gonna need a college degree to post on Facebook?
Yes, you're gonna need a doctorate in order to watch YouTube videos.
Makes no fucking sense.
No, what I was understanding when I was reading, like, the frequently asked questions as far as that whole program goes, is that you don't need people to sign up underneath you, but it just adds to the potential of getting
how
more
much you make? Okay. Well, see, like, it hasn't brought me up a link yet, still, in order to watch anything.
Well, from what I understand, it doesn't take off until, like, July 4th or something like that.
Yeah.
Right now, it's just like a pre-registration.
Yeah. And the only thing is I'm going to be gone, like, from the 1st of July to the 5th of July. So I'll be, like, a day behind everything once it does kick up.
Right. In fact, I think I'm going to go and see if I can't find it now and see if I can't get mine kicked in.
Hang on a second. Hang on. Y'all can talk. My daughter's coming in here for something. Hold on.
Okay. Yeah.
I don't know why. You have some drawings to show me? Well, you can bring them in here. I'm not on the radio right now. I'm just on Hangout.
Well, you're still on the live stream on.
Well, yeah, but I mean, I'm not on. We're not on the radio with your friend. Ooh, that's pretty.
Mom. Yeah, that was the only one. It was a rain cloud.
That one's pretty. I'm still live, girls.
I didn't know that.
Everybody can hear you asking questions.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Alright, out. I love you both, but out.
I love you too. I'm sorry.
My daughter's trying to say hi. That's Sarah.
Hello.
Say hi.
Hello. I'm trying to bridge the simulcast back here.
Alright, grab tuna.
I'm famous now, Mama. Come here, kitty.
Alright, out, both y'all.
I'm famous.
I'm gonna sound check before I bring Skype back up, and here's how I'm gonna do it. On the Skype laptop, I'm going to load up Audacity, and I'm gonna hit the record button on it so that right now my voice is playing into the recorder, and then I'm gonna hit stop, and then I'm gonna hit the play button, and I'm sure initially it'll sound like shit, and then I have to adjust the levels. Record button on it so that right now my voice is playing into the recorder, and then I'm it's sounding a little like shit, so let's adjust some things.
Yeah, I still haven't gotten that email from that thing.
I don't know why, but they emailed me like within a few minutes of signing up.
Well, I'm going to check my other emails. I tried 2, and maybe I thought like I misspelled something or something. So
at least the good news so far is it didn't sound like gurgle, distort, plop, crash. So that's a good start.
Have you tried in your spam mail, like where your spam goes?
Yeah, I checked both places on my Yahoo and my Hotmail. I'm checking my Hotmail real quick again to see if anything's changed, but so far my Yahoo I have not gotten a single email back.
Oh Lord, well that might be a difference if you're using Yahoo Mail and Hotmail. I use Gmail.
Well, I did 2 different ones. I tried my Yahoo one, 'cause that's the one I usually try if I think something might be a scam or what have you. That's kind of like my junk email.
Yeah. Hey guys, can you be quiet a second?
Yep. I tried my Yahoo one, 'cause that's the one I usually try if I think something might be a scam or what have you. That's kind of like my junk email.
Okay, that's not too bad here. So we are going to try to reinitiate. I'm loading up Skype. Trying to. Well, I think I just found out which laptop is at fault. And knowing is half the battle. I'm going to message Sean and say, "Bring us in." We're about to go back in. Yes.
Oh. I'm sending you something that's really funny and very, very funny. I'll send it to you in your Facebook chat, but when we are done, read it, okay?
Okay.
For Municipal Judge Herbert McGinty.
We are in theory. Can everybody hear everybody?
I can hear.
I can hear you fine.
Yeah, I can hear you too.
Truth Frequency Radio.
Dave?
Yes.
Hey, hold tight. Hi, everyone. This is Sean from the Awakening Liberty Show. Are you and your family prepared for an emergency? Have you ever thought about investing in food and water storage? Well, if you have, I urge you to check out my one-stop prepper shop. AwakeningLibertyStore.com carries the full line of legacy premium, non-GMO, made-in-USA emergency food storage and survival gear. Folks, I've tried them all, and Legacy Premium is the best I've found. Boasting the lowest cost per pound, the lowest cost per calorie, and the largest serving size in the industry, Legacy Premium is simply the best. Not to mention it was voted best tasting in blind taste tests, and I personally concur. Shop AwakeningLibertyStore.com and use coupon code PATRIOT for special listener discount, or call me personally at 775-276-4046. Once again, AwakeningLibertyStore.com. And welcome back to hour number 2 of the Awakening Liberty Show right here on Truth Frequency Radio, all across America, all around the world. The number to call in is 866-37-TRUTH. Again, that number is 866-378-7884. It's been an interesting show so far. It got a little sidetracked because just shortly before the show, a friend of mine and a friend of Sitting Bull, who is joining me today live, informed us that he was in deep despair, and he was thinking about checking out. At least that's the way it seemed. And so I've been a little rattled, a little sidetracked, and we've been talking a lot about that. And again, my prayers go out to Michael, and I hope that everything is okay. And I would ask everybody who is listening today to send prayers out for our friend. Just keep him in your thoughts. His name is Michael, and again, he's in despair. And I've been there. I've been there myself. It's something I've struggled with most of my life. Sitting Bull was saying, know that this can happen. And, you know, I hate to see it because, again, but look at it this way. And this is what I would say to Michael, and I think I said this to him earlier. In fact, I know I said this to him earlier in the private message, is that think of what Christ had to endure. We've got it easy. We've got it easy. If we cannot endure life's hardships today, and they may be very trivial, short-lived, and again, as we were talking, don't quit. Success, wherever it might be right around the corner. It might be closer to you than you think. You cannot quit. Because if you can't endure life's hardships, how are you going to endure eternal torment from taking your own life? I'm a Christian, I'm a follower of Yeshua and the Most High God, and the Bible tells us a man who destroys himself or destroys his temple because it is part of God, God shall surely destroy. So that's something that, again, it's been on my mind. Real quick, I hate to say this, but I want to let everybody know the Awakening Liberty Store, and I want to thank Shane Virtue. He's got some non-GMO heirloom seeds on the way. He had an order from Awakening Liberty Store. I want to let everybody know there is 10% off. You can go to AwakeningLibertyStore.com and check out all of my stuff. I've got Legacy Premium non-GMO emergency food storage. I've got seed vaults. I've got water storage, filtration systems, survival gear, AwakeningLibertyStore.com. And getting back to you, Sitting Bull, we do have Dave back on the line, but I want you to finish what you were talking about before the end of the last segment.
Well, I'm kind of going to bring it to a head here real quick then. We identify ourselves as the truth movement or truthers. And what we've been talking about today, there are a lot of people within the truth movement that don't agree with it. They don't believe in the Bible. They don't believe in God. They're still my friends. I love them. But they're wrong. And if we can call ourselves a truther and yet reject that, are we really a truther? Because Jesus said, you shall know the truth, and the truth will set you free. And ultimately, that is the source of truth. All truth originates there. And you can reject him and still understand sectors of the truth, but you're not really going to get the big picture if you reject him. You're not going to do it. And it's important to see the big picture. It's important to see where everything is heading, because we're not going to be ready for it if we don't see that. And it's not going to be easy to get ready for it, even if you do see it. But without seeing it, you don't have a chance of being prepared. And, to be physically prepared, to be where you can provide for yourself when things get rough and things like that, those are all important. But what's more important is your eternal soul. And we all have one. God doesn't count on you and me to believe for his existence. And I use that word reluctantly, but if God exists, if God created us, then he's all powerful. And we have to understand that. If we reject that, we're putting ourselves in a very, very bad spot.
Yeah.
That's something.
I completely share a thought with you. Go ahead, Dave.
Yeah. Jesus said that we're saved through loving God and loving each other. And I look around at all the division in the truth movement, especially some of those that claim to be Christian, but they're spewing venom and hate. It's like, you guys are just using Jesus as a social title. Oh, I'm saved because I'm in with the in crowd. I'm one of the cool kids. Jesus said we're saved by loving God and loving each other. So where's the love? Where's the unity? And how are you guys any better than the elites if you're spewing the same venom? I also wanted to say that I found it ironic that we were talking about Job and we were talking about seeing fertilizer as, opportunity instead of burden. And I've noticed these days especially that whenever I mention something, physical reality transforms to test us, almost like Job was tested. So we were put into a situation where one of my laptops glitched up, and I know even a few years ago I'd have been all upset and having a fit and seeing it as burden, and now we just had a light heart. I mean, we were laughing about it, and we were still streaming on the YouTube things, and we were just laughing about how this is just an opportunity to be the change and look at it as like, yeah, there's no need to get upset by this. It's a glitch, and we'll just move through it and then reconnect the stream, and all will be well. So it's like God gave us that opportunity right there to walk our talk, just like Job had that opportunity, and Job persevered and did not curse God, and we persevered and we did not curse God, nor did we curse the computer.
And I've persevered through a whole lot in my life, and unfortunately, I have to say that I have cursed God. And for that, I have deep regret. And having deep regret for your sins is one of the things that God has told us that we need to do. It is better to be very, very sorry now and then try to change our ways. And I think the truth movement needs to do that. They need to change their ways into acceptance in the fact that all of humanity, we are all one. And that is something that the elite, the wackos, the psychopaths who have hijacked humanity do not want. We see that over and over again. They want the Cloward Piven. They want the divide and conquer strategy. We have to get over that as humans, as humanity together. That is one of the most important things. But then again, well, what your thoughts on that, Sitting Bull? I mean, how are we supposed to do that? How are we supposed to get past all of this divisiveness coming down from the mainstream media, coming down from social engineering, and this geoengineered migration system that they are pitting everybody against each other?
Well, let's start by accepting, just by accepting, and let's stop believing the lies that we're being told. We see the race baiting out there, trying to turn whites against blacks, for instance, or other nationalities. Doesn't really matter who, but there's a lot of that going on where division is being instigated among us. And you're exactly right. The purpose is to keep us divided, because what they fear more than anything is for us to unite. And that's why we thought that it was important for us to have unity for our op. for that to be the subject of our op this week. We need to unite. It's that simple. The blacks and whites have no problems with each other that are real. They're all imagined that we've been told we had them. And so we fight that fight. And what are we gaining by it? Anything? I mean, a person who has black skin and a person who has white skin, there's one difference in those people, and that's where their ancestors were from. They have more melanin in their skin than other people because they were in the sun more. It's that simple. Other than that, you cannot find a difference. You prick them, they bleed. We're all the same.
Yeah,
all of humanity.
Color.
And color of skin that's just, to be against someone because of the color of their skin is just about the stupidest thing I've ever heard in my life. I mean, there's no sense in that at all. And we've all fallen into that trap at some point or another in our life. We've all had a, shall we say, opportunity to fail.
Yeah.
And we had this. So
winners fail until they succeed. And I also want to ask a question. Jennifer Codak has lived a very Job-like life, to say the least, and I'd like to know if it would be okay if she could jump on and share the insights and wisdoms that she has learned from her personal trials and tribulations.
Jennifer, you're live on the Awakening Liberty Show. How are you doing today?
I'm doing good. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can.
Okay. Yeah, I've been through a lot in life. Starting from a very young age, actually, from a baby. I went through a lot of abuse with, my biological mother, and then on into being adopted, and up until the age of 16. And Dave has been in my life since I was 14 years old. So he's been through a lot of it with me. And I used to be, really bad from it and have bad reactions from being abused and everything. But through the years, and being away from her and with Dave's help and a lot of people's help, I've actually been able to get through a lot of it. There's still after effects from it, but there probably always will be. But I pray about it a lot and everything, and I talk to Dave about it a lot, and I talk to a lot of other people about it. But, I mean, you just got to be strong. You can't give up. I've been there where I've wanted to give up, and it's not worth it. They are not worth, the person that's abusing you is not worth giving up your life for.
No, I've often said, don't let anyone take your serenity away from you once you found it.
Oh, yeah. I agree.
So,
I completely agree.
So, Jennifer, you're involved in Paradigm Shift educational comedy as well. Tell us a little bit about that and how your involvement in PSEC.
Well, I'm not involved like everyone else is. I'm involved through Dave a little bit.
This is her first time on PSEC, actually. Kristen's a part of the PSEC crew. Katerina's a part of the PSEC crew. Richard's a part of the PSEC crew. This is actually Jennifer's first time because up until recently she hasn't had any good devices to actually use the internet on or good internet connection. So only recently has she obtained that. Otherwise, she would have been a part of it. But this is her first time.
Well, welcome. And, I think what Dave is doing with Paradigm Shift and educational comedy, I really like the fact that they're approaching today's issues with some sort of comedy. I've had other guests on the show who say, even though we're being exterminated, we're being vaccinated to death, it doesn't mean we can't have fun with it. And I think that's where love and compassion and understanding and this symbol so eloquently said, acceptance. We can fight back, but this is an experimental drama that's being played out, and it is all up to us as to what side we choose to be on.
Yes, and you can fight back, and the way you fight back is you don't let them win over you. and you don't let them get the upper hand. And by upper hand, I mean, like, you wanting to kill yourself, or you just being totally depressed over what you went through. I choose not to have anything to do with my adopted mother. I choose not to have anything to do with my adopted family. I've talked to my biological mother in the past, but because I don't want that abuse in my life no more, I don't talk to any of them.
I think the 5 stages of grief and the 5 stages of paradigm shift are one and the same thing.
Mm-hmm.
Well, yes, certainly a paradigm shift that it insinuates a change in your thinking, and I've often said that the only thing we have any control over in this realm is what we choose to think, and many of us choose to think the wrong things.
Hey, Sean, it's Katerina again. I actually have something to add to that. I know that Jennifer was just saying that she's chose to have nothing to do with her family and everything like that, but with my family, we also experienced something very similar with my father turning and abusing my sister. And over time, it's been this journey of all of us learning how to rise above and having that very deeply personal, intimate journey inside of ourselves of being able to triumph and to be able to win over the shame and the guilt and the pain that we feel inside of ourselves. The stuff that, Satan and the devil would all want you to succumb to and kill yourself and be deep in drugs and alcohol and all of that. And now it's so beautiful, as I've been watching within this past year, like all of my family members coming back together and reuniting with this reawakened sense of, wow, we are all together, we are all unified, and we all just want the same thing. We all want to be loved and accepted, and to have that connection to each other, no matter what we've been through in the past, no matter what pains we've gone through collectively as a family. So now I'm actually even seeing this uniting happening in my own sphere of having 4 siblings who all distanced themselves from each other for a couple years. So it's very beautiful to watch what God's doing in the world. And again, even though it looks a little crazy and a little chaotic, I mean, there's a plan. God's working all things together for His glory.
Yeah, and what you bring up is something I've often thought about, because what she's talking about are certainly resentments, and having been through drugs and alcohol and 12-step recovery, that's one of the things we do is deal with resentments. But what you're elucidating there is one of 2 F words. We all know what one F word means, and then the other F word is called forgiveness. And that's a very difficult thing to do, but the Bible and it all tells us that is what we are supposed to do. That doesn't mean that you need to maintain that contact, but forgiving them within yourselves is a very, very important step to overcoming your own inner turmoil, your own lack of peace. And for myself, that's what I had to do. I had to forgive a lot of people, and ultimately I ended up having to forgive myself.
Yes, I agree with that.
Yeah, I guess when we say F it, we need to take the F it first in the initial derogatory context, but then change F to forgive. First we F it, and then we forgive it.
Yes.
I have a question. I would like Krista Pohl's perspectives from, she's an organic farmer, and she raises goats, and she's got that small farm perspective, and I would like her perspectives on the fight between small farmers and big corporate agriculture and the BLM and all that stuff, seeing as she is the knowledgeable one here with that.
Can you hear me, guys?
Yes, we can.
Cool. Yeah, as far as that all goes, I have been doing small farming for going on about 15 years now. I started actually in high school through FFA and have owned a small herd of cattle and a small herd of goats. And as a small farmer, probably the biggest issue is finding people who acknowledge that people who take the time to raise their animals, to take care of their animals, generally will have a much better and healthier product versus stuff they'll get at the store. They're so used to the ease of a commercial meat production. They can be able to purchase whatever they want, whenever they want, not realizing, have you really seen what happens to those animals from point A to point B, and then just the slaughter process itself? I mean, that's absolutely horrifying to have to go through, like as a cow to have to watch, all the cows ahead of you just getting slaughtered and their throats cut. Just that terror alone is not really good for the animal, or is it good in the ingestion?
Hold on. We lost you for a second, so the whole call dropped. So hang on. We'll bring you back on in just a second. Sitting Bull is talking.
Anyway, he hasn't contacted me back as of yet. As of going on the air, I'll check immediately when I get off, and hopefully he has. Again, if you're listening, Michael, hang in there. Hang in there. You know what we got in the works, and we're going to get you out of the jam you're in. There's too much to go on for, and the truth movement needs you, Michael. It needs you.
Yeah, and God's. You just, again, I got to reiterate this: is that is it's a permanent solution to a temporary problem. And Sitting Bull and myself have both offered help to our friend and said, come out here. I offered us to come out here. You can stay in the house for a couple days. We'll help you get a room. Have a job lined up for you. There are people out there that care about you. And that is,
yes, there are.
It's not, you don't want to take this permanent solution. It is not what you want to do. It is not in your best interest, and not just for what is happening here, but what would happen in the afterlife. That is not what God wants you to do. That's what Satan wants you to do. That is his ultimate goal, is to get you to take your life, stay in despair, stay out of hope, and to give up. And believe me, I know the feeling. I've battled it my whole life. We were talking about, gosh, Dave, I forget her name. She was talking. She was abused by her adopted mother.
Jennifer Codak.
Jennifer, yeah. I was abused by a step-parent for a long, long time. I was 6 years old, 7 years old, thinking about how to kill this woman. And I'll tell you what, that is a strange place to be when you're 6 or 7 years old.
Sure is.
Okay, a 6 or 7 year old kid, homicidal, in hatred and in anger and in terror. But I have learned to overcome that. I still struggle with it. They say I'm bipolar. I don't think I'm bipolar, but they say I am.
Well, they have labels to put on everything, Sean, but...
Well, their label was just to put me on drugs.
Mm-hmm. That did what? I mean, the drugs have their own set of problems, so...
Yeah, I started taking the drugs, and it says, and every time I see the ad on TV, if you're taking this drug and thoughts of suicide increase, go tell your doctor immediately. So guess what I did? I went ahead and told them, and guess what this guy did? He locked me up.
Yeah.
I'm like, okay, I'm done.
I'm sorry.
I'm not taking.
I'm sorry to laugh, Mike. Or, I'm sorry to laugh, Sean, but that it's kind of hilarious in one sense, and that is how idiotic they are. They want to give you these drugs that really the only purpose for the drugs is their bottom line. For most of the drugs out there, that's the case.
Any drugs that have side effects like anal leakage, I don't want that drug.
Yeah. I spent a lot of years on pain medications, narcotic pain medications, and they helped for a while, but they hurt a whole lot more than they helped.
And they have labeled me as bipolar also, and I'm not on any medication for it. They tried to put me on Yeah, when they tried to put me on medication for it, and all I was a zombie. I was dead to everything.
I have a question. I'd like to know what the last thing you guys heard as far as from what Krista Pohl was saying, because I think in all fairness it'd be good to let her finish her thought, but she needs to know where she left off because we don't know when the call dropped.
And I suddenly lost all sound.
That's because the Skype call dropped again.
Okay.
It's reconnected.
Okay.
Interesting, I mentioned calls dropping, and then it drops again!
They just can't handle your awesomeness, Krista.
Dave did it. Dave hit the mute button.
You're too sexy for your goats and your cats. Yeah, Skype is trying to reconnect a call.
Okay.
It's telling me.
Yeah, that was a really funny segue. Like, talking about goats and cattle, and all of a sudden we're talking about...
Oh, we're not. We were, and then the whole thing just went... It reconnected, then it imploded. We are having all sorts of technical difficulties. This one is Skype's fault this time. That's pure. Skype has been a little bitch these last few days. Oh my God, Skype is just wow.
The last few days, I've been having issues with it for the last 2 weeks.
Microsoft, what computer do you want to crash today?
I'll be back, guys.
Skype's only gotten worse since they bought it. Good Lord, we're having all sorts of fun crazy. It's important to be able to laugh at this stuff. Honest to God, it is.
Well, because if you get frustrated with it, it's just going to make matters worse.
Right.
And then the assholes that be win, and we don't want them to win. Let us not succumb to the collective Stockholm syndrome.
I think that if what they were talking about you, Jennifer, and they were mentioning about killing yourself and how it's really letting them win. What's really kept me from doing that has been this idea of, well, I feel so low right now, I don't really want to go on. And the only thing that I hate more than myself or the situation that I'm in is the fucked up world and the things that they have done that have been really fucking with people. It makes me angry. And so the only thing that keeps, I just figure if I have nothing to lose, why not stay here? Why not be super weird, even if I'm all alone? Because if I kill myself, I'm all alone anyways. Why not be here and just be an example of something totally different and hope that maybe it'll help one person one time?
Oh yeah, crazy is fucking awesome.
Yeah, it really is. I mean, so why I hate the situation that I put in, I hate the way I've been made to feel about myself, and I hate what this society that's set up has done to connection between people, and it's been enough to make me not want to live here, but I figure I hate it enough to want to stay and want to change it.
Right.
Even if just a little bit.
Being a soldier to take all that shit out.
Yeah. I've always thought, well, there's nothing I can do. You know, I don't really have any super big talents as of now. I'm not saying that couldn't change, but I figure
that's not true at all. The biggest superpower you have is your smile. I have seen more people. I work in retail. I work at Lowe's in retail. And I've seen more people have a better day and have a better life just by a simple smile and a genuine wishing them a good day. That makes the whole world difference, even if you do nothing else.
And yeah, that's really beautiful, and I've been affected in that way myself. Sometimes someone will show me the simplest amount of kindness, and it'll bring tears to my eyes because I see so much lack of that. And then when it's really there and it's really real, it's awesome.
It's always a beautiful thing to see the candle in the darkness. Always is.
Yep. Oh yeah.
And yeah, the chance to be that is enough to make me want to. Not to mention the potential that I have if I would spend maybe 5 minutes a day trying something new or working on a skill. Just any amount of time a day versus nothing. Who knows where I can...
Oh, yeah.
So, it's not hopeless. I'm thinking about making a short little inspirational video about this, like the whole.
Cool.
I'm for that.
Yeah.
And,
My God.
talking about
around the
talking
solstice
about being a
things are always
candle
nuts.
in the darkness.
Mm-hmm.
Like, when I was going through all that abuse and everything, Dave and his family was there for me. And we went through so much together, but they was my light in the darkness.
Mm-hmm.
They was what put the happiness in my life back then.
But the illumination had a 7-year retroactive effect, but that's besides the point.
But, I mean, like I said, I mean, I was a complete bitch back then. With everything that I went through, it was so hard for me to trust anybody.
Oh, yeah. You build that castle, you build that fortress so tall, so strong that the very act of someone knocking gently on the door is absolutely terrifying.
Oh, yeah.
Jennifer had a classic case of the problem is that there is no problem on crack, on steroids, to the next level, in ways you can't even imagine.
Bye, I love you guys too. My daughters all said bye to y'all.
Tell them bye.
Bye.
They all said bye.
What do you want? She's on a...
Love you, baby. Be good.
20,000 people are watching from here.
Y'all know they can hear you.
Here goes the number.
You know, this is really going to make an interesting secondary PSEC episode. When I download the MP3 from Truth Frequency Radio to be able to merge in what was missed. So I'm going to download this episode. I'm going to download the MP3 from Truth Frequency Radio, figure out where everything fits together, and then it's going to be like the extended ultra crazy version.
Great, do it.
You know what I really think it is, Krista? The BLM just does not want you saying anything. The Bureau of Land Molesters, a.k.a. Black Lives Matter, does not want you talking about these issues.
Yeah. Because if they put power to the people, you know, of course that's going to be the scariest shit on earth, because holy crap, they'd actually have to, I don't know, care for once.
Sorry about that, guys. My kids are going swimming.
It's okay. Hey, Kristen, feeling better?
Yeah, a bit.
You gotta laugh, Kristen, seriously. Like not, and that's not only ideology. Like when you laugh, endorphins get released, and then you start literally physically feeling better. You gotta laugh, girl. You gotta freaking laugh.
Yeah, if you don't laugh, you're just gonna be really depressed.
If you don't laugh, you're fucked, and not
exactly.
Not in that hot, sexy way either.
Dave, I was trying to be nice.
Hey, trying is not doing. I'm just fucking with
A lot of the time I don't laugh because I don't always catch the jokes that you guys say, or I don't understand them sometimes.
Well, that's okay. Then make your own. I mean, it's just like, you know, just think of anything that makes you laugh and bring it up. I mean, you don't have to conform to what everybody else is saying. Oh my God, I'm not conforming, so therefore I can't laugh, so therefore I have to be miserable. No.
Yeah, we are all individuals here.
I know.
We all have our own personalities.
Monty Python, Church of Brian. You are all individuals. We are all.
I mean, if you can't tell, I'm sitting here with blue hair.
I love that.
I remember when Elliot made it pink.
Oh yes, I've had pink and red and blue, green, purple.
Oh, I want blue hair really bad. That'd be so cool. But,
I love it.
Right now I have this ombre thing going on. It's a little bit lighter on the ends.
And now you can do.
Mine is kind of like that too. It looks kind of like a peacock.
And now you can do all the. Now you can do all the colors at once on Snapchat. Yeah, just ask
It's true with the unicorn rainbow bar filter thing that
Actually, eventually, I'm probably going to do a lot of colors at once.
you should. I love it. The only thing that keeps me from doing it is my hair is already really damaged, and I don't even do anything with it. Like, I don't heat dry it or anything, it's just damaged. Even before I got
do all the rainbow colors, and then wear a t-shirt that says, "Hey Orlando, armed gays don't get bashed." Lock and load.
Yeah! Do the iron-on letters. Iron on some letters so we can say that. That's great.
Well, I have to have somebody do it for me, though, because I can't do it myself. That's a lot of coloring.
Obama's just like, okay, gay community, there's Orlando, so we're going to take your guns now, right? And the gays are like, no, armed gays don't get bashed.
So much.
Obama's just like fail after fail after fail after fail. It's great.
Yeah. I love how that turned around on him. Big time.
Yeah.
I mean, some people bought into it, but most of the people I know, it just strengthened the idea that, hey, more people should be armed.
Yeah.
And that's how I feel. But
yeah, Obama don't realize he's just pissed into a fan.
Yes.
Well, the idiot is a little, it always takes a little while longer for those things, that concept to kind of like click.
Yeah.
But, Dave, as far as making jokes, I'm not at the point yet where I can just bring in a topic and then make a joke about it without it being too awkward for people to find funny. Not that I can't be there, but I just...
You know what? Even if it's to yourself in your own head, to just bring your own spirits up. Think of something that makes you laugh, or like
go watch I walked into my room wearing a his head.
Go watch a Triggly Puff music video or something. I mean, anything that makes you laugh to bring your spirits up.
Yeah.
Because once your spirits are up, you'll be fine, but you gotta get them up. So anything that'll make you laugh, anything, inside your own head, watching a video on your cell phone, whatever, anything that'll make you laugh to bring yourself up.
What's interesting is I'm trying that.
Watch My Little Pony if you have to.
Yeah, that's a good show, actually. I wouldn't.
I do not like My Little Pony.
My little brownies, I'm sexually attracted to a horse. My little brownies, I wanna rape it. Anyway, I lost my...
Wow.
Try again next time, hon.
I think there's a reason you lost that thought.
And you failed.
Dave's the Brody secretly.
Well, I would
Dave's
say it was
the secret Brody.
Throw the cheese!
Don't let him fool y'all. He's secretly a Brody.
So did we not get the bridge connected again?
Yeah, sorry, Jennifer. I don't want to screw your stepmother.
No, please, no. I don't want that even pictured in my head, dude.
The last I checked, Sean was saying, tried to reconnect, it's not working. I said, try again then. I said, if it doesn't work, I'll try restarting Skype, which I tried. Still nothing. Skype has been acting.
We're probably just not aligned, guys.
Yeah.
We're all like sitting over here joking, and he's like all tripped up about his friend committing suicide or wanting to commit suicide.
I said Skype has been acting especially asshole-ish this week. Skype didn't even tell me you tried to reestablish the connection, and I've got it loaded on 2 computers. So this time it's Skype being a douche. So. Yeah, it seems like alignments to me. I mean, regardless
we're all over here having a party call.
Regardless of any y'all out there watching, whether you're Christian or New Age or whatever the hell you are, it's a science fact that everything is made of energy, and the way energy works is frequency aligns with itself. 50 hertz and 5 hertz cannot coexist at the same space at the same time. Either 5 has to become 50 or 50 has to become 5. You know, you can't put 20 gallons in the 5-gallon fucking bucket, right? So it's just, the alignment. I think people forget that in their arrogance, because we have all this technology to impress ourselves with, we forget that humans have to abide by the laws of physics as well, but we like to think we're exempt. It's like, oh, we're so great, so physics doesn't affect us. It's like, really, go ignore gravity off a freaking cliffside and see how that works out for you. I mean, we forget physics applies to us. It really does. We think it only applies to jet planes and computers.
That would be the only benefit about dying is if you could stay around long enough to be a ghost, you could walk through walls.
Oh, yeah.
All of that. Terror and as a ghost.
Or if you're,
I know, right?
Or if you're Captain Kirk, you don't even need to be dead. Gotta be me aboard. Boing.
Right.
Yeah, I think Skype is just having some mad issues for Sean right now.
Yeah, I find it funny how it's just when I talk too.
But I do feel sorry for him and for what he's going through with his friend. I know I've been on both sides of the situation.
Mm-hmm.
But it does suck.
Yeah, I was in the middle of a mood last 2 days. I feel much better about it now.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Well, that's good.
Right now it's 5:41 p.m. Central Time, and the radio show ends at 6. So we'll give it the 20 minutes to see if they reconnect. But then after that, we can remain on for as long or as short as we want. But let's at least give it the 20 minutes to see, if they can reestablish the connection. And if not, well, then not, and better luck next time. But at least I know which laptop was the one fucking up, and knowing is half the battle.
Yeah. I have a fly who absolutely loves my camera. It keeps landing right in front of the camera every single time.
My tablet keeps falling. Like it slowly slides.
I knew there was going to be no chance of my phone standing up on anything, so I just decided to hold it the whole time.
Oh. Well, like, I had to kick cats and kids and old men out the room. I closed my door because he's out there playing video games, and you'd be able to hear it on here if I didn't.
Oh, yeah. I'm probably going to get up here and go on a little walk, but it was really nice talking to you guys and meeting you, Jennifer. And
it was nice meeting you too and talking to everybody else.
Yeah.
Yes.
Sean Caron just messaged me. He said, Skype is not letting me add you to the call with a bunch of question marks. I said, yeah, I'm not even getting the pop-up asking me to join the call. Skype is being a complete and total stroke off.
Oh, Lord.
Yeah, maybe another time if that went well enough to where they want us to come back on the show.
Yeah, maybe. I mean, I'm not going to go all conspiracy and say it was the NSA, but at the same time, I have no proof that it wasn't.
Katerina, did you just fall over the couch?
I don't know.
I think Katerina just fell over the back of the couch. Did you see that?
Hey, Dave.
What?
Hey, Dave. This is what Paul thinks you look like. Kane.
Oh my gosh.
Do you see it, Dave?
Yeah, partially. It's a bit glary, but partially.
Every time I see him online, it seems like Kane.
How's that?
Yeah, it does look a little like him.
I know. Doesn't that look funny? Paul, every time he sees you,
I've been told I look more like Stone Cold. You know how he had the mustache and beard thing.
Stone Cold. Stone Cold is awesome.
Because I don't have the full big thick beard. I've got the little mustache.
It's really funny. So yeah, you just need some red funny.
Yeah. Have you ever seen the Darth Powder picture that Dave and I did together?
I don't know.
It's funny.
I believe it probably is hilarious.
Yeah.
Know your mouth and shut your rolls. Oh God, you know, back in the day, Jennifer Kodak's ex-boyfriend, Richard, he was a total like Stone Cold Austin nut.
Yeah.
Stone Cold Steve Austin freak fanatic and total poser. It's just like that guy had issues. And then my dad kicked his ass all over the front of our property and down the street. That was funny, like literally.
Yes, it was. My uncle.
I only
kicked
wish
his
I
ass.
had a camera at the time. That would have been great. All right, here's my Walter Kelso whips ass. Like, oh my fucking God, that
My
guy.
uncle kicked
literally
his ass
down the
too.
block. Man, that pussy took off running.
He did, but like my uncle kicked his ass too because like we was at my uncle's house and he slapped me across the face and my uncle seen him, and my uncle said, "You are never gonna put your hands on her again." He started kicking his ass. I was like, "Whoa!"
And then, dude, one day out in front of Fred's house, dude starts messing with me, and like, you know, I just kept it cool because, like, at the time, like, I was afraid that I was gonna offend Jenny or something. And then later on, Jenny's like, "Oh no, I wouldn't have minded if you would have kicked his ass." I'm like, "Why didn't you say something? I really wanted to. Why didn't you say something?"
I would have jumped on that bandwagon.
Like nobody liked him. He was a complete asshole.
He had me in this fucked up headlock to where my hands were totally free to just go any way I wanted. I could have just taken him down, but I was like, "Oh well, I don't want to like upset Jenny. She's been through enough." And then later on, Jenny's like, "Oh, you should have." I'm like, "What?"
Because at the time, I figured somebody go beat on you, you go beat on him back. I mean, good lord.
Well, he wasn't beating on me. He just had me in this like half-ass headlock, and I was being diplomatic because you were under stress at the time, and I didn't want to cause you more grief.
Heck, he still had his hands on you, so...
But
if he had his hands on you, it was fair game to do whatever you wanted to him.
He wasn't injuring me though. Now if he had if he would have tried injuring me, I wouldn't have cared whether or not you got upset. I'd have defended myself.
Oh, like I wouldn't have got upset about that.
Yeah, but he was not injuring me, so I used a diplomatic approach, thinking that okay, well Jenny's been through a lot. I don't want to upset her, and you know later it's like, oh, you should have. I'm like, why didn't you say something?
Because I didn't say very much back then.
I mean, his whole front was fully exposed to my fists. I could have winded him, then given him a nut shot, pushed him down, started punching him in the face. Totally.
No, I know. I remember that.
Totally could have, but
that would have been funny to watch.
Oh yeah. I wouldn't have been able to videotape it though. I didn't have nothing to videotape it.
At least my dad got his shots in, so that was cool.
Yeah.
And then later he calls me up. Why are you telling people that your father kicked my ass? It's like, he kind of did. You took off running down the street. You kind of lost. You ran away like a coward.
Yep.
and then sometimes he'd call me up and be like, "You stop talking to Jenny." And
oh my gosh, yeah.
And I'm like, that's her decision to make, not mine. And if you've got a problem with it, you know where I live. I never got that visit. Apparently my dad did though, because Dad and Connie were out front, and like Rich, you know, rides up on his bike and tries to like physically attack them for whatever fucking reason, and then Dad just I mean, I heard the commotion. I go out front, and there's Dad chasing dude around, and I'm like, what the fuck is going on here? That was something really interesting to walk into the middle of. I walk out front, I'm like, who's Dad chasing around and trying to? Oh my God, Jenny's ex. What the fuck is this?
And you know, like, I have not heard nothing from him. He knows he has a baby.
Yeah.
But not one word. And Becca asked about him. Becca's like,
Oh, well,
Mom, who's
remember
my
what-
biological father?
Well, remember what he told me that I wish I could have gotten a freaking recording of. Remember what he told me back in the day? He admitted to me
That he was just with me to get me pregnant.
Yeah, exactly. That it was like a little contest to him, see how many girls he could get knocked up.
Yeah. And like I've got some pictures on Facebook of him, which I saved for Becca if she asked any questions about him or anything.
Mm-hmm.
But I mean, she asked me, she's like, "Well, do you know where he's at?" And I was like, "Nope."
I got pictures too, all the group ones that we were all in.
Yeah. Yeah, that's the ones I'm talking about. Because I've
You
got
were
him on Facebook
so
too.
short back then. All of a sudden, like year 19 hits and you sprout up like a weed. I'm like, you know, like somebody like watered you with Miracle Grow or some shit. I don't know.
I know. Like I thought I was gonna be a midget for life. Because I was short. I still think I'm short.
Well, you shot up to like 5'9". That's not exactly tiny.
No, I'm not 5'9".
What, 5'8"?
I've never been 5'9". I'm like 5'4".
5 foot? No.
Yeah.
I just had a Jehovah's Witness come to my door.
What?
I had Jehovah's Witnesses come to my door.
I told y'all she went over the back of that couch.
The world is a playground, guys. I'm a kid in a 23-year-old's body.
I'll trade you age for a little bit. I'm 35.
There you go.
I'd like to be 23 again.
I am immortal. I am immortal so far.
He's immortal. Well,
We'll
seriously,
see about that, Dave.
Jennifer, hang on,
seriously,
Dave.
you know that you guys have seen the picture.
Yeah.
2023.
Yes.
I feel younger now at 23 than I did at 18.
Oh, wow.
It's amazing.
I had fibromyalgia at 18. I was like, I couldn't even walk around the block at 18.
Wow.
Yeah.
It was bad shit, guys.
Well, like, me and my old man have been talking about starting to try to go to a gym and so that I can try to lose weight and he can too. And hopefully that will help it.
How you're feeling energetically. Because, honestly, I don't go to a gym. I don't work out. I mean, all that stuff. It's like, I just kind of live my life and I have fun. I'm like, that's really the best thing to do. It's just, like, work on energetic stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Jennifer, do you remember Plump Pumpkin Dave that I used to be?
Yes.
Nothing I did to lose weight would work until I started to change my self-image and say to myself, I'm going to enjoy the process of losing weight instead of, oh, woe is me, I'm overweight, I'm fat, that's the only reality, blah, blah, blah. Then everything I did to lose weight started working. But until then, I was just commanding my brain to tell my body, store fat! Store fat!
It must stop. Living in health must be painful.
No, I will actually enjoy losing weight. I know it'll make me feel a lot better. And hopefully, in fact, I know it'll probably help my immune system too if I do.
Oh, it definitely will. But you got to stop affirming to yourself, I'm overweight, I'm overweight, I'm overweight, and start affirming to yourself, I'm looking forward to enjoying losing the weight. It's two totally different places to look at it from.
Mm-hmm. Oh, yeah.
I've also noticed it seems like you've also been losing some weight too, Krista. I can tell in your face.
Oh, thank you. Yeah, it's basically kind of like the same thing that you've said. You know, I've started to acknowledge. You know, I've had a couple of people, both men and women say, you're looking really good. Just so it's kind of like with I was telling to Kristen, just those little positive affirmations, help me to realize, damn straight, I can start looking good whenever I want to, and it's now.
But it is a process. People expect to plant a tree seed today and have a 40-foot tree tomorrow, and life doesn't work that way.
No.
It's like, oh, I don't have a 40-foot tree. It's impossible for me to grow trees. Oh, I'm doomed. And it's like, no. Mm-hmm. It's just people see time as the enemy. That's why they're so impatient, because they think the more time there is, that's the more time there is for things to go even more wrong. So they want everything now. But life doesn't work that way. Everything's a process over time.
It's the journey. It really is the journey.
Mm-hmm.
And also, it's like the journey of empowerment too, because I noticed that for me, when I used to be heavier too, and it's like when I was feeling disempowered and I couldn't speak and I felt really repressed in myself, I just noticed that I just would gain weight, and it was just the more that I was energetically just kind of shut down and closed like this, it was my protection, stay away from me. That was my fear. And so as I've learned to be more forgiving and accepting and feel more supported by God in life, I've been noticing just how I feel, and my body's different. I feel more expanded and loose, jumping over the couch or whatever.
It's Hawaii. You're still in Hawaii, aren't you?
By the way, just so you know,
Hawaii.
Kristen,
we all need to move there.
Kristen said the reason.
I've lived in many places. It's not Hawaii.
Kristen Meyer said the reason she left is because her phone was dying. Just so y'all know.
Okay. Yeah, I had to plug up too.
Yeah.
I was dying too, so.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's amazing how you just take those small steps, and for me, it was just, as I said, it was the positive affirmations from other people. That I don't even know. I have 2 people from Gambia and 3 others from Pakistan now. Where it's just where did you guys all come from? And they're all telling me the same thing. It's just I don't know you. I don't even know how you found me. Where did this all come from?
I've been that way too, because I get friend requests on Facebook, and it's where did you come from? I have no clue who you are. I don't even have a mutual friend with you.
Speaking of social media, seeing as this is kind of like the TSU get together here, at least in theory, why don't we all share our TSU addresses with the public at large here, so that people know how to reach everybody.
I would, but I don't have mine wrote down, and I can't get to it while I'm on here.
Okay, well, everybody.
I guess all you would have to do is just look up my name.
Yeah, well, everybody else is telling theirs. I will look it up, and then I will read it off once it's in front of me.
Okay.
Kat, you want to go first?
I'm looking mine up too.
Yours is just Katerina.
Thank God I'm not the only one.
You don't know your own name, Katerina Roy?
No, we don't.
Oh, I know mine's Caxian the Dragon.
Can you spell that for those of us who are dragon illiterate?
Caxian the Dragon is Kaxan, the Dragon. It's been my surname, pen name, whatever, for years.
And y'all know it's all one word. It's all together. There's no spaces.
Right.
And to make sure we make this a memorable Codak moment, Jennifer's is JCodak99, but JCODAK99. It's not spelled the same way as the camera, but it is a Codak moment nonetheless.
Always is.
And mine is Paradigm Shift Docs for you. So Paradigm Shift DOCS, the number 4, and the letter U. U as in like what Skype has been saying, "Fuck you!" Skype's being a triggly-puff. Get your hate speech off of this Skype call, Crash.
And what was Jen's again?
Mine's J Kodak 99.
J Kodak 99. All right.
Codak.
Yeah.
But it still counts as a Kodak moment.
Yeah.
Where's my search engine? It's so weird to be on TSU on the computer. I'm so used to hopping in on from my phone that's like, all right, I have no idea where I'm at now.
I use mine on my tablet all the time. I have a laptop, but I don't even use my laptop. I use my tablet for everything, including a phone.
It's really nice that you share other people's stuff, but it'd be cool if you also posted a bit more as well, so that people, can, like all the YouTube videos that you watch and stuff. I'm like, yeah, go ahead and post those. That's cool, because you say you like watching all these YouTube videos. Well,
I watch YouTube almost every day.
Well, then share that shit. Let people know what you're into.
J Kodak. How do you spell the Kodak again?
Codak.
There we go.
J Kodak 99.
Right there. Got her.
99 satanic balloons sitting in your computer room, fucking with your Skype call. The globalists, they have no balls.
No, Dave, that's not satanic. If I had 66, that'd be satanic. Or close to it.
My car has the license plate 66.
Huh?
My car has the license plate 666. I call it my little devil.
Oh my gosh, I would too.
99 dead baboons sitting in my living room. Not so functional, it seems. Quite a conversation piece. For anybody who likes Dr. Demento.
Did you get some devil horns for your car too? And a tail?
No.
You should
Jesus like that at the front of the window.
Here we go.
Did you paint it red?
Katerina, you should make like a little 3-foot long cloth devil tail and tuck it right up under your car and have it.
Exactly.
That would be funny.
Just hook it up under the bumper and let it drag behind.
Yeah. Do the front half, have Jesus up in the front, and then in the back half, do, the devil tail.
Instead, it's almost like a wedding, where they have the things trailing behind the car. But instead of just married, it's just Satan.
Yeah.
Hey, you can put a bumper stick on there that says "We break for Bilderbergers."
Yeah.
Suck Kissinger's cock. Your Lord and Master Satan commands it.
Well, guys, I'm going to have to get going so I can cook dinner for my old man.
Well, don't go too hard. You might hurt yourself.
Oh, no. I ain't going to hurt myself. He's here to catch me if I do.
Unfuck yourself, because you got to be an unfucker.
But it was great talking with y'all, and hopefully we can do this again.
Yeah, let's get on some more conversations more often. We got the open forum here. I mean, when we're simulcasting on radio stations, cool, but it's not like that's a requirement.
Yeah.
Right. Oh man, it's going to be so fun downloading this, downloading the MP3, splicing it together for the super ultra insane version.
But I will talk to y'all later.
All right, see you, Jen.
All right, y'all have a nice night.
Later. Love you. See ya.
Love you too. Bye. Bye.
And then there were 3.
Dun, 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 and the stupid fly.
Anyway, you know what? Why, at least for the PSEC audience here, why don't you finish your thought about organic farms, seeing as like Skype was like fail.
That as far as organic farming goes, the best place to help anyone, whether it be a just starting off person in the business or someone who's been doing it for a while, is to get in touch with your community. There, in every single small culture, whether it be in the city or outside of the city, you're going to find people who are growing something. And the best thing you could do is encourage production, whether it be small scale, big scale, or what have you. If some people I know, what most people don't seem to understand, like say if you buy a half a beef from somebody, is that's a lot of money up front. But you don't. It's not just all hamburger. You can have that meat cut and wrapped any which way you want, and if you want as many steaks as you could possibly fathom, you really just need to sit back and do the numbers in your head. Well, if you can have all the steaks cut from that meat as there possibly could be, you actually save yourself a lot of money in the long run.
Yeah.
And not to mention you're helping the local farmer stay in business. You're encouraging people to take better care of their stock, because then you can actually approach them, go to their farm, see how they take care of things. If they take care of their animals like shit, it's not worth eating that, because you are eating shit.
And the meat gets filled up with stress hormone, and then you eat that? Ew.
Yes, and people can't seem to fathom why they have so many digestive issues, why they gain weight, why, it's a circle of everything. Part of it is a spiritual aspect. The other part of it is you are consuming a poor spiritual aspect. You
are consuming something soaked in stress hormone and adrenaline, and then wondering why you're not healthy.
It's just like what a lot of people haven't quite realized yet is like, if you ever gone to people who constantly win the fairs and stuff like that, and they take their flowers, their vegetables, and stuff like that, and they win at those big blue ribbons, they do that with time and love. I had one lady say that she specializes in roses, and that every year when she takes her roses to the fair, she always brings back home not just the blue ribbons, but the grand champion overall ribbons. And she says her biggest thing is she just takes the time to talk to them. That's it. And then how that little bit will make a huge positive change. Like right now, I have goats who are 16 years old. That's really old for a goat. And they're happy, they're healthy, and I've even had some at that age produce live and healthy kids. You don't have to constantly have young stock. You don't have to do what the commercial aspect says you should do by getting rid of the cow at 8 years old because she's too old to produce anymore. No, I've seen cows at 20 produce healthy calves. It's all in the aspect in how you take care of them, and all you have to do is take the time. Take the time to love them, and they will love you back.
I don't talk to plants, but I do send my intentions towards my garden, and my garden grows so spectacularly. I'm always trimming out there quite a lot, and then all the stuff that, especially the more the bushes and stuff that turn into the hardwood, and then we take that and we burn it in the bonfire pit out back, and then the ashes, they go back into the garden. It just kind of continues that life cycle, so it's pretty cool.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, there's always ways to recycle what you have. People get freaked out about the manure and stuff like that. It's amazing how many people you will find who would be interested in just taking the manure. you don't have to charge a lot for anything. You know, if they know it's coming from good stock, not treated with pesticides or with chemicals and things like that, you will have people lining up at your door just to take it down to their gardens. You know, every little bit counts.
Totally. Absolutely. And I was going to say something to that, but my train of thought derailed. But whatever it was in agreement with what you were saying. I mean, people. It is weird how people get freaked out about the manure thing. It's like, well, what do you think they grow plants in? I mean,
right.
What do you think dirt is?
Right. Dirt is just decomposed, plants, animals, species. It's been that way since life began.
Before this planet existed, it was happening on planets elsewhere. It's the way it rolls. It's the life cycle. So it's just like, I don't know why people get freaked out about that.
Yeah.
I mean, it's not like you're stuffing raw shit in your mouth. I mean, it breaks down to dirt. The plants take in the nutrients, and they convert it into plant material. It's not like you've got plants made of shit, like the wanky shit demon or something.
Right.
I mean, it's the plants convert it into what they need.
And then animals, because our stomachs aren't designed to take in all the nutrients from those plants. So animals that can, like goats and cows, can change that energy, and so it makes it easier for us to digest in the long run, whether we harvest the milk or the meat from them.
It's all about having a balanced diet.
And what's interesting is that most people, they'll look at, there's some people who will eat lamb, and there's actually more, I guess, would you call your traditional Americans that will eat lamb. The most Americans will, their two big meat things is pork and cow. Mm-hmm. But the interesting thing is that your sheep are pretty good. They're also grazers, so which means they live off more grassland type forage areas. But goats, there's so many different things that goats are good for, and it's not. They thrive in areas of brush and absolutely jack shit as far as availability of food. And
the question is not to ask what goats eat. The question is to ask what do they not eat.
Right. Right. And what's really beneficial and what it's becoming a very popular thing now is people are realizing that they'll take they can eat the poisonous plants like your poison ivy, your poison oak, and get rid of it. They can annihilate it within a couple of years because the plant itself cannot thrive without its ability to, if it has to constantly regrow to get its energy, it'll eventually just give up. Like right here, I have blackberries out the wazoo.
So wait, they can eat poison ivy and poison oak without it bothering them?
Oh yeah, no problem with it whatsoever.
I did not know that.
Yeah, no, they are absolutely great. And the best thing about them is that any of your weed seeds, if you have weeds that are starting to seed out or whatever, if your goat eats that, their natural digestive system actually inoculates, and makes those seeds unable to reproduce.
Wow.
Yeah. Or inoculates, I think is the wrong word. But in which case, it makes the seeds non-viable. That's the word. And
wow.
So it's actually the best and easiest way to remove weeds from your agricultural area than it would be to do anything else. In fact, I was just reading an article from this magazine. I think it's I can't remember the title of it, but they were saying, from a natural-based perspective, the best thing you can do about any situation would be like if you have a wooded area, brushy area, whatever, stick goats through it first. They'll clean out whatever the brush that other animals won't eat. Then you stick your grazers through there, your cows or your sheep, and they'll clean out all the grasses. And then you stick pigs after that. and they'll go through and they'll eat the roots. They'll eat anything else that the other animals won't touch.
Wow.
And they'll eat the roots, and they'll churn the earth for you. And then, after all that fertilizer has been put in from all those different animals, it makes the best agricultural for you to go through and plant it, say, with carrots or tomatoes, or do whatever it is you want to do after that.
Jesus, I totally need to cut this section out of this video and make that like a Pawnscape video on top of that. You know, like.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Wow, I just learned something.
I'm gonna go eat lunch, so I'm gonna get off the call. I really enjoyed talking to both of you and all of you guys. That was fun.
It was.
And
it was.
I am going to see you guys later.
And we didn't get victimized by Skype being a douchebag. Yay!
Yay! Great.
Bye, Katerina.
Bye.
Love you.
See you guys.
See ya.
Yeah, this ended up being a pretty cool Google Hangout, even though it didn't all go exactly totally as planned. But
right. When in life does anything actually go in plan, though?
You mean go as planned?
Yeah.
Rarely. Just gotta roll with the punches.
Oh yeah. I'm not exactly sure where I've heard it before. I actually think it's a biblical verse, but I couldn't quote it, from location. But it's easier. It's better to be the reed than it is to be the tree when the wind blows.
Mhm. I have not eaten yet today.
That's fine. I am perfectly okay with you stuffing your face. And, but as far as the whole, livestock thing, it's just for me, the hardest thing for me to make an actual production out of it is, from the very start, we first moved to Colorado. We had 50 acres out in Colorado of nothing but grassland, and didn't know exactly what to do with it. We were just happy to get out of the city, and so started the FFA thing, got my first cow, helped a Mexican family get back on their feet, and he was a butcher, and so he bought animals from the auction and butchered the animals and sold the meat, and that started my whole goat farming. He bought a goat, and must have been pregnant. So we kept her and waited to see if she was actually pregnant, and started my raising boer goats after that. And at one point in time, I had somewhere between 16, 18 does and 30 head of babies every year. And I couldn't keep up with the demand at the time. I had people coming up all the time, be like, "Do you have any more goats?" I'm like, "I'm sorry, I'm all out." And then we lost our house, we had to move, and I cut my herd in half just to make the move. Jumped from Washington, Colville, Washington, to Ritzville, Washington, trying to do the same thing with the organic farming, and coming across people whose paradigms were all about control, even though they preached unity and compassion and all that fun stuff. And
yeah, they're just kind of like, we are all one.
Exactly. Exactly. And so that was gosh, that wasn't even a year of trauma from having to deal with that kind of crazy, to the last people that we had even threatened the safety, both of my mom and myself and my livestock. And I don't take that lightly. You start, especially when you start throwing punches about my animals, it's it's not good karma on you, that's for sure. And so we moved to Idaho, and oh gosh, that was always an interesting thing.
I guess the police were useless for you in your situation.
The what now?
I guess the police were useless for you in your situation.
Oh, yes. Oh, yes. Mostly because it's, they've been in the community for so long. They've had better, community rapport. We're the strangers, so they're darn well which words they're going to take. And 2, when it comes down to like spiritual, actual thorough spiritual warfare, police guns are just really not up to par. So, getting out of that situation and moving to a redneck part of Idaho was always interesting, to say the least. And I liked the people. I liked the area. It's a beautiful area. But there's half of the people there who've lived there all their lives are just redneck backwards. Can't accept anyone new, anything new. It's their way or the highway. No colored people allowed. And so in a white-based redneck area, trying to get a goat business off the ground was insane, because most of especially with Boer goats, which is a meat breed, your biggest buyers are going to be your Muslim communities and your Latino communities. And when that's completely devoid in that area, because it's, staunch white Christian, so having to try to switch that into a dairy production, which I had a couple of dairy goats, but they're not efficient. They were mutts to begin with. They were gifts, so they weren't of quality stature. And so, especially when you're competing with other dairy people who've been there for a while, not so good as far as that goes. And top of all that, learning a lot about the goat dietary needs. In Colorado, keeping them fat and healtty was easy. The hay quality was great there. The water quality was great there. Same thing with both the Ritzville and Colville areas. I had great qualities in hay. Water was a little questionable in Colville, mostly because of it being a hard water, but I wasn't there for long to see the overall results. But in Idaho, in our particular area, it's really, really high in iron. And the one thing I've learned over everything else is that goats, unlike a lot of different livestock, and especially an exact opposite of sheep, require a lot of copper. And in the goat world, there's not really a lot of studies behind this fact, because goats are not money efficient in this part of the world, because we're so staunch pork and beef. So there's any studies about this, about how much copper a goat should and should not eat, and how much this should. So a lot of it is a guess, trying to figure out how much I can get away with as far as mineral contents and stuff like that. But the biggest thing I learned is that iron will bind with copper. And so even if you're giving them large amounts of doses of copper, it'll bind if not half of what you're giving them. And so if you're trying to boost them back up, you really have to figure out a way to purify the water. Most people don't seem to understand that clean water is huge. Not only is clean water huge, but it's also balanced water. If you have water that's, heavy minerals, we do it for our own houses, for our own drinking, safety and flavor even. That you should consider that for your livestock. If you want good tasting milk, I highly recommend you find either a cleaner source, whether you go from a water spring and just truck in your water that way, if setting up a water purification is not monetarily, financially available for you right there. But their overall health demands it. I've seen animals, just on good, clean water, and just to taste the difference, within a week from moving someplace with hard water to someplace with it's got pure, clean tasting water, and how much that makes a difference in the milk production and the flavor of the milk, which will affect your cheeses, the flavor of your cheeses. It'll affect the flavors of your yogurts and your milk and ice cream. I actually prefer to make goat milk ice cream out of my stuff. And so it's just like, if you take the time, the quality will be there. And most people think, well, I'll just throw it shit hay, I'll throw it, moldy hay, I'll throw it, the water tank is a little green, but it's okay, I can still see the bottom, it's not like that. If you take the time to make sure you have clean water, if you take the time that you're, living, your bedding, your all that sort of stuff is clean, you might want to think about doing the same thing for them, because, hell, the thing about livestock is just being proactive about their care. You have less vet bills, which honestly we all know, vets like doctors, it really fucks you up fast. And so
we have 3 cats. Boy, do we know it.
So being proactive, I know that dog food, that cat food, that hay is expensive. I've paid for cheap hay and I've paid for expensive hay, and 9 times out of 10, I will travel farther to pay for expensive, good hay than to have to deal with trying to build up and replace vitamins and minerals and protein content that I've lost buying the cheap hay next door. It's just not worth it. I understand time and energy is everything, but, it's also an equal balance. If you can't take the time to save you time, you might as well just give up, because it's having to deal with my animals and having them, get to the point where they're so deficient in copper that they've almost gone completely bald, lack of hair because of that.
Are there articles on this stuff on the internet?
Not yet. I'm actually working on one of the bigger, one of the first articles that talks about it. There are some people who recommend, higher copper and stuff like that, and there's some information out there that I've been able to base off of, but most of them, are vouching for copper amounts that are around the 1,500 parts per million, and in my experience, goats need a lot more than that. And especially if you're dealing with an issue like I've had, where you've got high iron, or there's got to be there's 6 or 7 different vitamins and minerals that actually will counteract the absorption of copper if you're not careful.
Reminds me of the whole situation with humans and the vitamin D. Most people don't realize that humans need at least 10,000 IU of vitamin D per day. And they think if they go into the local store, they're getting their vitamin D. But if they look on the bottle, it'll say 250 IU, 500 IU. It's not nearly enough. And the doctors literally aren't allowed to tell you, because to directly quote the FDA, every healthy person is a customer lost, unquote.
Right.
So they're not allowed to tell you that. But if you go on Amazon, for example, I got this, and if you notice, I'm trying to hold it still enough to read. It says 5,000 IU on there.
It's hard to read. It's kind of blurry.
Yeah. Well, let's see. I'm looking at the screen on the other end, because it's clearer.
There we go. I see it now. Yes. 5,000 IU.
Two of these a day, or you won't regret it.
Especially if your lifestyle doesn't mean you're out and about so much. Like my lifestyle, I'm outside the vast majority of the time unless I'm at work. Mm-hmm. And so, people forget that their ancestry was originally hunters, or gatherers. So, yeah.
You should probably still take those anyway. It's not that expensive. 2 bottles will last you a year.
Oh yeah, I completely agree. And I've actually used human-made products, for human consumption on my livestock, simply because they have to go through, human consumption has to go through more rigorous testing and quality checks than animals ever do.
And the whole thing about interaction between the minerals and stuff, you know how there's this whole calcium kick, you need calcium, you need calcium, you need calcium.
Yep.
What they don't tell you is that magnesium balances out calcium, so if you don't have enough magnesium, your bones are still fucked, right along with the rest of your immune system. So there's something called Dead Sea Salt on Amazon. It's advertised as bath salt and stuff too, because you can also absorb it through the skin and in water and all that. But you can eat it directly. And what I do is I take Dead Sea Salt and I mix it, with regular iodine salt, because your body needs iodine as well.
Oh yeah.
So I mix the two together and mix it together in my little spice mix stuff. So that when I put it on my food, I got a little bit of everything. I got the balance. So, then when I eat some ice cream or whatever dairy product they're in or what have you that contains calcium, then the calcium and the magnesium are balancing each other, and you don't have this dysfunction where it's like calcium up, magnesium.
Yeah, and the same thing actually with phosphorus.
I've got a lot of calcium. Why am I having health problems and bone issues? And are you balancing it with magnesium? Wait, what?
Yeah. And it's the same thing with phosphorus. Calcium has to have phosphorus in order for it to be absorbable. And phosphorus itself, typically, no matter what type of life form you are, it's a 2-to-1 ratio. And if you don't have that, you often have a lot of issues. And you'll actually see that with a lot more urinary issues. Like if you've ever gotten urinary stones, checking into... I have. Checking into your phosphorus count is not a bad idea either.
I did not know that.
I
should probably. You know how many IUs of phosphorus?
No, I don't know, but it's a 2-to-1 ratio. So whatever you have, you're taking as far as your calcium goes. Just half that.
Well, I tend to eat things like, ice cream, chocolates, etc. Yeah, not the healthiest for you, but it still has calcium, and I don't like drinking straight milk, so...
Right.
I don't like gorge myself on that stuff, and I also eat cheese and stuff too.
Well, there's actually calcium in legumes. Did you know that?
In what?
Legumes, such as peas, soybeans, alfalfas, things like that. Yeah. Beans, any kind of bean is a legume.
I eat chili beans.
Yep. Any kind of bean will have a higher amount of calcium.
Much to the regret of anybody around me at the
time. Sometimes it is a good thing to live so far away from you.
So for the phosphorus levels, can that be done with certain types of foods, or get the pills, or what?
Yes, the phosphorus, since my experience is in livestock, I usually go through food-based, because that's just the easiest way to take care of them, because they're always hungry.
Obviously. So what types of foods for humans have good phosphorus?
Grains. A lot of your grains will have higher phosphorus in comparison to your calcium. Really? Things like oatmeal, rice, wheat,
what about so bread, potato chips?
Potato chips is not considered that's considered a root, and it's actually more sugars and carbohydrates than there is in actual phosphorus.
Okay, so crackers, bread, rice.
Right.
Things of that nature.
Things of that nature.
Interesting. I did not know that.
Yeah. And another good rule of thumb is if you look at a plant and something, like cracking open a walnut, for example, its shape will also dictate on how and which part of the body it will help. So in comparison to the walnut, as I said, you have the outer shell, looks like the outer casing of a skull. You crack it open, it's got 4 chambers, it's got the folds and bends of a brain. That type of protein that it has in it is actually the best kind of protein to help with your brain.
Walnuts. Interesting. So if you're in Orlando and you look at a plant, that plant is probably a crisis app. As they carry the guy towards the Pulse nightclub instead of away from it. Wait a minute, he shot. If he's going towards it, where did he get shot and where's he coming away from?
You know, kind of like the concept of the carrot, actually. You know, I've heard whenever I was a little kid, the carrots are good for your eyes. Cut open the carrot, what does it look like? It's like an eyeball. You got that center, it looks like a pupil. And actually, when you look at even the shape of an eyeball, if you granted, if you're kind of like a sensitive person, I don't recommend you listen. But if you were to extract the eyeball as carefully as you could from the skull, you know, you got that round part of the eye, but you also have that long stem, you know, which traces back and attaches back to the brain. It looks like a carrot.
Interesting.
You know, so like a lot of different parts, like beets, for example. You know, that rich, dark color is great for the liver, and your liver is pretty much that color.
So does that mean that for intestinal tract health, that Obama would be good because he looks like an asshole?
Maybe if you're only concerned about the condition of your sphincter. But cannibalism is still considered illegal and wrong in most countries. So
Not to mention, it's not good for the genetics. It degrades. Yeah, not good for that at all. But that's interesting. The way the shape of the plant is gives a telltale sign of what it's good for.
You know, and another good rule of thumb.
What are potatoes good for? They look all round and is that like gallbladder or something?
I don't know off the top of my head because technically, your tomato plants,
I said potato.
I know, but I'm just.
Or are they all in the same?
Whole family thing. Yeah, this is all part of the family thing. Okay, so potatoes, tomatoes are actually all part of the nightshade family, which is a toxic plant. You know, so.
Oh, fun. Yeah, in other words, just like hogweed is highly toxic, and it's a part of the carrot family. And I only recently learned the British name for hogweed, hemlock. And that shit's starting to grow all over Canada and the United States now. As a matter of fact, I just killed 2 plants that looked way too much like it for me to be comfortable. I'm not good at identifying it specifically. So basically, I did the whole, you know, rubber gloves and all that and the 3-foot-long snips, and I snipped off the tops and carefully put that in a plastic bag, and I threw that in the garbage. And then the remaining stump, I took some weed killer, super concentrate, doused it on there, and I wanted to really make sure that shit gets dead. So I went into the basement, and I noticed a can of, oh, look, liquid aluminum. Aha, chemtrails in a can. That ought to do it. So I got the weed filler, I got the chemtrails in a can, and just put it on that shit, and I'm not watering that area for a few days to make sure that super concentrated poison gets right in there, because I'd rather make a mistake and kill the wrong plant that wasn't hemlock instead of make the mistake of assuming it's something else, not killing the hemlock, and then, oh gee, why am I dying in the hospital? You know. So it's just better safe than sorry, so I just, yeah. But I didn't know until just the other day that shit was hemlock. I'm like, oh my god, hogweed is hemlock? Nasty.
Yeah, so
and then my friend Perry on Facebook was saying they got a tree down in Florida that has, it's not literally sulfuric acid, but its inner juices act like sulfuric acid. And if you stand under that tree, when it rains, it will melt you. Oh, wow. That's just lovely.
That's very interesting. But the thing about the tomatoes and the potatoes, like for me personally, I have to watch how much I can consume of either or because my body has a hard time digesting it. So it has something to do with my interaction with the nightshade family that makes my body, like even bell peppers is also a part of that family, or bell peppers to begin with. So, and you'll know for sure if that's just something that you can't physically handle, is if you often have a lot of indigestion, whether it be basically farts, you know, burps especially that smell like rotten eggs is a good indication that your body cannot handle that kind of food. And so, like for me, especially with the peppers, as much as I love peppers, I almost always get a slight indigestion from consuming them because my body just can't handle eating them. So I'm not exactly sure what part the potato is good for that matter, because I try to avoid them, and even though as much I love them to death, it's my greatest weakness besides chocolate. And tomatoes are actually good, in particular for the heart. But again, it's also watching how much you consume of that sort of thing, because you know they stick tomatoes in just about everything, and you know, it's also a pH balance.
Here's the name of it. You know, that acid plant. He said we have something here in Florida called the I don't know if I'm pronouncing it right, MANCHINEEL tree, manchineel tree. 100% deadly. You shouldn't even stand under it. If you do and it rains, the sap will disperse and dissolve your skin.
That's crazy.
The only purpose they serve is from which to make poison darts.
It would be funny.
And I was like, fuck, sulfuric acid. I'm like, fuck, sulfuric acid tree, lovely. And I said, I'm good for fighting ISIS, bad for making salad, LOL. Unless it's a salad for ISIS, aloha dude snack bar, motherfuckers, ha ha ha.
Right.
You know.
I'm sorry, but when you're like leaning forward, you know, reading this to me, I'm like, I just want to pet your head.
Yeah, I know how much all the ladies love heads, so you know.
Oh, would you like a bigger shovel?
you gals just cannot get enough head, apparently.
Yeah, I'll give you a shovel. I'm sure you could start digging real fast. Oh, well, that's basically all I've got, unless you've got further questions or.
We've gone almost but not quite a full hour more, and then the PSEC episode to come after this is going to add on even more after that from the MP3.
Right.
And then I want to take the section where we're talking about the agricultural stuff and put it together and put it on Pondscape. So, yeah, I've got content. but anyway, content. Those who know what I'm making fun of. So here's what we're going to do. For those that are watching the original version of this, you know, the live stream as it is, that is about to end, which will mean the end of the video. But for those that are watching after the fact, when I put everything together, we are now going to resume with the rest of what was missed from Truth Frequency Radio, the Awakening Liberty Show with Sean Caron.
Cool.
And then that's where I go cut and nip, and then, you know, on the insane version they don't see the rest of it from this point forward. It's just cut,
right.
and then jumping right into what was missed. So that was my little like line to snip. So, thank you everybody for watching and joining us in this absolute synchronistic insanity. It's been fun, and we'll catch you all next time on Paradigm Shift, Educational Comedy. Anything else you want to say in closing, or is that it? You're done?
Nope, that's good for now.
Yeah. Have a good one, guys.
Bye.